Okay, so welcome everyone to another episode of Loading Screen. I said we're gonna do more of these, and we're trying. Still fucking trying. It's not every week, but we're trying to get shit done. We have a lot to talk about this week. We've got the Nintendo Direct, Pokemon Arceus is out, and everyone's done with that already. Elden Ring's coming out soon. We have all sorts of shit to talk about. We got Cera with us again. Jin is still out. I actually don't know what Jin is doing right now. I think he's like prepping his life for his like bender on Elden Ring, but he's playing Pokemon, doing all that stuff, so he's not here with us today. But I got Cera, so
yeah, it's me, the stepfather of the podcast. I think I'm gonna come in when Dad's away at the war, the Pokemon War or the Elden Ring War. Hey, yeah, it's me, Cera. You've seen me in a couple of episodes before. Who am I? Who cares?
I mean, that's kind of where we're all at in life. So what do you got drinking tonight?
Oh boy, shocking everybody. In a bizarre twist of fate, I decided to once again have rum and coke out of the sports bottle.
I honestly thought you were gonna have something different this time.
Oh no, baited you.
I mean, I thought you were. I thought you like legitimately were like, oh shit, and then no.
Well, we said it on one of the last episodes. I just love to get a crate of beer, one of those twist off tops and all that. But
that would have been different than rum and coke, because
we'll do the South Park special and bring a case of Pabst. Pabst Blue Ribbon, white trash and in trouble, kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's good shit.
What people are really interested in, though, fam, is what vintage are you sampling today?
So here's the funny thing.
It's late enough that you're not actually needing to have Irish coffee for my time zone. You're not doing this at 10 in the morning.
I have wine. I have a 2007 Tempranillo from Grizzly Republic. You probably can't read it because it's flip-floppied. But this is also from Paso Robles in California. I'm sad I don't live down there anymore. But this is my favorite winery, and I have to start drinking all these because they're getting to the point where they're 15 years old and they're going to start turning into vinegar. So gotta start drinking them. And then I was actually going to have beer for the first time because I went and bought a bunch of beer because I got a friend coming over from San Diego to hang out this week. And so I was going to do that. But I was like, you know what? It's the weekend. It's nighttime. It's classy time. So.
Maybe that should be like an episode 50 thing. Like, depending on how long these episodes take to come out, you have to get the oldest bottle of wine, wait for it to turn into vinegar, and then just drink that on stream. It'll be a podcast that will last about 20 minutes of you just drinking vinegar, and then that's it. It's just you screaming.
Yeah. I think it was a couple months ago, we had a Merlot that was a 97 Merlot. And Merlot's kind of it's whatever, but it was an old bottle we just stashed in a cabinet.
I like Merlot.
I like it, but it's just really mellow. It doesn't have like a whole lot of standout flavor. You have to really blend it with stuff. That's how you do like your Bordeaux blends. But people don't usually drink straight Merlot. But it's 100% pure Merlot. It's from 97, and it was well past its prime. I should have known because when I was taking the cork off, the cork was
dry. You just pulled a bunch of grapes out. It solidified back into grapes at this point.
No, dude, wine gets really bad. Like, I pulled the cork out, and the cork had dried up to the point where it wasn't, like, sealing anymore. And so they kind of, like, loosely came out. And there was just all crystallized sugars around the cork and stuff. Like, it had all, like, dissolved off. And so the wine wasn't even, like, purplish red. It was kind of brown. And it smelled pretty bad, and I poured it. I was like, I don't know if I should be drinking this. And
no, okay. First of all, did the wine bottle have like a flush on the side? Because maybe that should have been your first, like, you're drinking toilet water there, fam, is what I'm getting at. You just drunk a toilet.
I've drinking a lot worse. Like, I'm one of those curious souls where, like, I see something, I'm like, I need to try it once. Like, anything, like, I'll try something once.
You'd be the guy in like a fantasy novel where if you saw a sword in the middle of a lake, you'd immediately go and grab it, and then you get cursed by fairies or some shit.
Oh,
you'd be that guy.
Yeah. I would definitely do this. I would do that in real life.
Like, I love it.
Hey, there's a gun out there in the middle of the field. Why don't you grab it? Like, not once would it cross my mind. No, that's fucking crime scene evidence. It's got prints on it and blood. I'm like, no, let's just go pick it up.
You know what it would be? Like when people are stunned by a loud noise in films, and it's that like ee noise, and everything's muffled. You would hear that. You'd hear like gun, and that's all you'd hear.
Yeah,
from your perspective.
Weird.
Gun, sweet.
Yeah.
This is great. I love this intro part because I always roast you for your American wine drinking habits, and then there's
Mr. My teeth hurt British over here. Yeah.
Listen. My teeth may be rotting, but there was going to be an end to this sentence. Anyways, yeah, loading screen. It's good to be back. I actually enjoy doing this quite a lot, and it's nice to come back again.
I mean, who else can you ramble to for several flipping hours?
Dude, we're so bad at tangents, so bad. I did. Oh, hey, first tangent. I probably said this on one of the last episodes, but I think the first episode was when I had to set up a separate account for my phone. Yeah. So I could have a camera, because I still didn't have a camera. And it also, as a fat guy, it was like pointing up, so you could see like all the double chin and shit. And then I finished that episode like, Christ, I'm never coming back on this podcast. And here we are, however many episodes later.
I'm sure a lot of people have that same sentiment. There's like, I'm not doing that again. I'm trying to get everyone back in, but I mean, a lot of people that you did the original like first 15 episodes with just aren't really playing Monster Hunter and stuff anymore. I mean, myself included. So it's kind of hard to find common ground that shit we can talk about.
Yeah, same right now. I think we experienced like a jolt of life, because I suppose it's good to talk about Monster Hunter because this podcast does primarily focus on that. But there was a bit of a jolt of life, wasn't there? When PC Rise came out, we went, okay, cool. Spawn mods, health mods, cool mods, shit like that. All this extra stuff. Everybody's excited. And for other players, it's a new chance to grind stuff. And 60 FPS looks banging. But I think for at least speedrunners, now we've gone like, okay, it's cool, but it's the same fucking runs. It's the same shit. And so on.
And I think it's starting to show that we have, now that we have more tools and stuff, that how easy it is to like speedrun the game and how broken the weapons are. Like immediately the game came out on PC and people are destroying times by minute and a half. And every monster, elders included, are 2 minutes or less. Everything. With most weapons.
Okay, you set me up for this. So I need to put my glasses down low on my nose for this. You ready for this, Fern? That sounds like gunner privilege, my guy. I play Charge Blade. I've been running Charge Blade. How do you think I feel? No, but that is an interesting thing. It does show the disparity between weapons even more, because now that we have this achievable maximum with modded legal charms, that's the hugest thing about running right now, is that you are running with big legal charms. Min-max. And also, yeah, exactly, we can now do that rather than having to mod a switch or modify saves and stuff, which, yes, it is possible, blah blah blah, but it's a fucking hassle on Nintendo products. And it kind of says it all that the amazing times set by Peppo, a great longsword player, are using Quick Sheath 2 and that's it as the skills on the charm, with like a 3 and a 2, and that's it. Like, how does that, that's the longsword conversation that's been going on since man discovered fire, I think. But for underdog weapons like Charge Blade and even Gun Lance, and which is barely a weapon at this point, we've been seeing a lot more sort of min-max stuff, a lot of Dragonheart 4 sets with Goose Legs and so on, and we've been seeing way better times. Magnum-Arlo's at sub 3 now. Beautiful. Have you? No, for Charge Blade. So I think, yeah, I think Magnum-Arlo was like a low 3. Even on Switch, and it was like a Wormstake spam set with defense boost, because you just use Ground Splitter to go through everything. But yeah, we have been seeing more of this theoretical maximum with Monster Hunter Rise on PC. But bells and whistles at this point can't really, at least for speed. I'm talking purely from a speedrun point of view. It can't. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Is so from a speedrunner perspective, it's like, yeah, it's cool, but it's still, we don't really have much. But then also from a more casual person perspective, granted, I'm not the person to talk about that, but it's like, it's still the same game as the Switch. There's nothing new, and like, if you're not gonna take advantage of the frame rate and the mod tools and stuff, there's no difference than playing it on the Switch. It's not like the mouse and keyboard controls are saving it. So I think it's a good framework, and yeah, it got people like into it again, and we're like, okay, cool, yeah, Rise is still a thing. And then obviously it kind of dropped off again. People are like, it took like 2 weeks, and then it kind of dipped, and then I think people are just like, okay, we got our stuff settled and we're ready for Sunbreak. Everyone's just like, we're just gonna wait for that, because there's nothing that's gonna come out until Sunbreak. I think on the 6th or whatever we get USJ for PC. Big fucking deal. It helps Bo even more. If Bo didn't need the help, I mean, it got more help now, so Bo's even more absurd.
I love that. They just went, hey, Bo users, I know you're lacking for damage, am I right? And Bo users were there like, oh, what? I just fired a volley of arrows and killed a Rampage. What? Like, they didn't care. Bo's crazy. Bo's nutty.
Apex Dread Queen is like 135 with bow. It's like on TA. It's like, what the fuck?
No, I saw. I think it was. I don't know if it's Titus or Titus, but you know, Titus. I'll say Titus. French Monster Hunter bow player. Really, really cool runner. He did an Apex Zenoga, I think sub 2, like 159 with bow.
Yep.
In the vanilla quest, and yeah, it's ridiculous. Actually, from a personal point of view, me and a few of my friends, we do Rampage speedruns. So it's shrapnel bowgun until the Apex comes in, and then before it was slicing. But there's also the optimization of, you know, the gongs and the artillery and stuff. And I think we managed to get like close to a sub 6 Rampage. We're talking 3 waves of a Rampage in under 6 minutes. But we've been in touch, one of my friends, Ascalon, has been in touch with our old Monster Hunter Frontier guild, and they do Rampage speedruns now. And I think with Ibushi, like the Ibushi Rampage, they managed to do a sub 4.
Really? Fucking how?
Yeah, sub 4. It's just optimization. The fact that stickies explode on the ground next to the monster's head, you can use that. What else is there? Clusters play a part, I think, and then the final wave is Pierce Heroic's bow. So it's Nagakuga bow, I think, or whatever the best Pierce bow is. Yeah, and it's just Pierce Ibushi through the back, through the wind sack, to the head, with Heroics while it's fucking around and coming in the first area. You do not go to the second area, you just use everything and beat it that way. And it's, you know, a lot of people hate Rampages, but that is genuinely impressive. You know, I saw the video, I was blown away. And yeah, I'll have to find it. I'll message Ascalon afterwards. But yeah, so Rise had that. Actually, one thing that's worth talking about before we get onto the actual topics that we had written up. It's great. We prepare like 2 paragraphs and then we talk about so much else. But Super Hunt mod, dude.
Isn't it cool? I fucking love Super Hunt.
So for people watching, the story is that Fem messaged me being like, hey, can you get me some footage of the slow-mo kill, and can you get me some footage of this, you know, whatever, this weapon, or a weapon that isn't a gun at this point, using these mods? And he said, oh, have you heard of Super Hot? And I went, oh, yeah. So Super Hot is I don't know if it was originally VR, but it's a game that translates into VR.
I think it was originally just a game, and then they made it a VR game.
Yeah, so the premise of the game is you're fighting what look like those modeling dolls.
Fighting Polygon Team.
Yeah, exactly. And time only moves when you do. So in VR, if you move your arm, the enemies start to move and so on. And they made a mod like that in Monster Hunter. So let's say Diablos digs. If you stay still, Diablos isn't going to surface. Actually, that might be a really bad example.
Yeah, I think those are animation locked. I think he still comes up out of head.
Hey, let me tell you about this mod and what doesn't work on it. But like basically, certain things do move, yes, but you can time stop a monster. I realized about a week back that you can combine that with the free camera and get amazing
That's what I was saying in my video.
Dude, amazing fucking action shots. I don't know if you've seen the tweet that I've
seen the Valstrax stuff. I was there on stream watching you do all the Valstrax things. Yeah. It's super cool. Yeah, because you get some awesome screenshots for like thumbnails and shit. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, we don't ever have to like Google Shrine Ruins background or
I put a lot of effort into putting all those fucking pictures together.
Maybe that should be your next stream then. Maybe you should do the photography hunter. How about that?
The problem is that it's going to show your hunter, and it's always going to have a gun. And people are like,
well, no. I mean, you've seen my photos. You get the right angle, and you're good. You know, Free Cam and Super Hunt were really, really good, really good. Of course, there's a few visual mods, and every weapon mod now seems to be about longsword for some reason. But yeah, Rise right now is
about longsword. Every time they show anything Monster Hunter, it's longsword.
Oh God, you've just reminded me.
Defender shit, yeah.
Oh Jesus. So how do you feel about it? So considering what we know now, because when it first dropped on Twitter, I was like, "This isn't needed." Oh wait, I'm a fucking idiot.
So it's both. First, like the Defender gear, like because it's not like World where the Defender gear was the best gear for the entire game. Like until Iceborne came out, like Defender gear was super OP because we got it before Iceborne. It was just here's your fucking Defender gear. It's crazy. So the Defender gear in Rise is good. It's really strong, but it's only strong for low rank because it doesn't like upgrade into high rank until they bring out Sunbreak, because then they're gonna let it upgrade for sure. But it's really good for low rank, and it's like the de facto best low rank gear. And then when you get into high rank, you obviously it doesn't go anywhere, and you have to kind of get gear on your own. So because of that, it's like whatever, like it's there to help new players and stuff, and it doesn't really affect anyone else. But at the same time, I still hate it, because then it's like you're not teaching players the core fundamentals of Monster Hunter, where you go out, you hunt the monster, you collect parts, you come back, you're like, what can I make with this? Oh, I got to go out and fight this, and this, and collect stuff. You're just like, oh, I have a fucking sword that takes 1 stone to upgrade, that they show it is like literally 1 stone. It's like, okay. And then you have like all the gear. So by the time they get into high rank, they're still not going to know how to do anything. They don't have any parts. They didn't hunt or save anything. Like, they're not going to know anything. And I just feel like it doesn't help the new players at all when the like low rank part of the game is so easy anyways. We don't need to be dealing 3-4 times the damage we were, with normal weapons.
Yeah, it's a very weird situation, I think, with the Rise Defender gear specifically. The Iceborne or the World Defender gear was very weird, because it does invalidate a lot of those grinds. I kind of assumed they imported that stuff in to stop players from doing Kulve, because people would go, oh, well, I need to check out Kulve, but everybody's busy doing Iceborne, so they're not going to have any people to join them for the multiplayer and so on and so forth. But also, and they may not have the knowledge as well that, the lower or the non-Kulve stuff is still passable and can still get you into Iceborne and so on. The Rise stuff, I think, is okay, but also not needed. Like, it doesn't affect me. That's actually one thing that I had to realize, because I tweeted as like a knee-jerk reaction. I posted my thoughts and stuff. I was even going to make a video, and then I realized, nah, nobody cares. This will be over in like 2 days, as most flash in the pan stuff with Monster Hunter.
All Monster Hunter is the flash in the pan, dude.
Yeah. But I realized, well, it doesn't affect me, right? So I play mostly solo. I do speed runs. I'm, if I am presented with the opportunity to make a new file or whatever, I just won't use those weapons. Low rank's easy as fuck, dude. I made like
it
2
takes like
or
an
3
hour to get through it.
Yeah, I got to, I think, casually grinding through and then taking time out to specifically farm artillery pieces. I got through Low Rank Village with Charge Blade in like 2 hours on stream. Yeah. And that's with like breaks and stuff as well. It's, granted, I'm an experienced player, but,
when I came back and redid, because we don't have the save transfer from Switch to PC, when I came back to make a new save and play on PC, it took me 1 stream to get from low rank village up to like HR6. Like, I did all of village and then got to like HR6, and like
that's like Zenogre in high rank.
Yeah, like I just did Magnum Malo in high rank, so I unlocked like Zenogre, Rathalos, and all that stuff. It was right before the last year, and I was just like, this took no time at all to do.
Yeah, of course, granted, there's going to be the different perspectives, different players and all that kind of stuff, and I understand why they want to do it, because they want to release Sunbreak and then have players go, oh, there's this new Monster Hunter out, I want to play it. I have to do.
But that's exactly why they're going to upgrade the Defender gear. It's here now, and it's only in low rank for now. But right before Sunbreak hits, they're going to upgrade it to high rank. So you have gear prep.
I'm going to be really, really cynical here. I'm going to be really cynical and say, well, if they got a sale of Sunbreak and the player played it for, let's say, 2 hours or 3 hours and decided not to play it anymore, is that really a loss on their end?
No, they got it. Like they got their money, and it's all that matters, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very cynical. It's very, angry video game anime profile picture moment. But overall, I think it's not worth whining about, in my opinion, at least online. I'm not going to dedicate every waking moment of my day to shit talk the Defender weapons. I could have, the good thing about it, if we talk positively, is I could have a friend who's like, hey, I've got a Switch, I really want to play Rise. I'm like, cool, make this weapon. You can do this, you can catch up to high rank, and then I can start carrying you, and then I can teach them along the way. That's the only time it'll affect me personally. What anybody else does with their time, with the way I play the game, no disrespect, but it doesn't fucking matter to me. I barely do open lobbies. I barely, play multiplayer. I don't think I have, and the multiplier for monsters kind of discourages that.
Yeah,
now.
It does. Now it does. Isn't it crazy? Like the old, like pre-world games was all about the hubs, and you would just go in and do hunts with people, and that was it. That was the game, because you're always looking for random pieces and other weird shit.
That was like, you know what I used to do when I was living in a different part of England for university, and I didn't really have too many people in the area to hang out with. I would just like, if I wanted a relaxing night, I'd just go through Twitch and I'd search for Open Lobby, Monster Hunter Generations, just the base Generation streams, because chances are they'd be doing open lobbies, because that would get engagement and people to join in and so on. So I would join in and I'd play with them because there's no fucking multiplier. Nowadays, I'm like, well, I want to play Rise. Do I want to play with people that aren't my friends? No, because I'm just gonna. What's the positive, right? Yes, you can, start a conversation and have fun and all that, but you're faced with higher health pools, higher stag limits. Chances are you'll get a shitter in there or somebody who just idles at camp. Mm-hmm. If you do it solo, you have a solo health pool gate, solo stagger limits, solo this, solo that, solo whatever. There's all of this stuff.
That's why I like the older styles of hubs, where it's just like, hey, this is hub difficulty. It doesn't matter how many people you have, it's just fucking hub difficulty. So, like, if you can go in and solo it, great. But then at the same time, going with like a random group of like 2 or 3, that's only going to make things easier, essentially, as long as they're competent. But like now it's like we have scalings and stuff, and like the monsters don't fight the same because now their stagger and status thresholds are different, and it's like, I don't know, it feels bad.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only really enjoyable if you have a community or if you have a group of friends who know the game, I suppose there could be an argument of if there's a group of 2 of you and you're happy to carry some lower tier randoms or whatever. If you're happy to do that, then more power to you.
And here's my other side to that, though. I know we're still super off topic, but like back in the previous games, even like unless you're like hardcore Hame running or speedrunning, hunts still took between 5 and 10 minutes in the G rank stuff, like in 4U and GGU. Like you still took a decent amount of time unless you're like really into speedrunning.
Even then, just like a bunch of casual randoms joining together, not doing Hame stuff, could take like 15 minutes on some G monsters.
And it wasn't terrible. But like Rise and World, you're killing monsters in 2-3 minutes tops. Like you're just blasting through stuff. So like you'll go through like 15 hunts and not feel a thing because just like whatever. And then like you don't need parts anymore. You're not like hunting for anything in particular. So I just feel like the energy's not there like it used to be.
And it's not like the whole like, oh, I need this, let's do this, let's cut the tail this time, guys. There's not that sense of we know what they want. It's just, oh well, I'm at endgame, I just need parts,
and we're gonna fight the same 4 monsters over and over.
And then somebody has to apologize and they're like, look, I haven't made the gunner pieces, I need to fight Ragnar. And everybody's like kicked from the lobby. He's sent to the penis implosion room.
Yeah, I don't know. I miss the multiplayer for Monster Hunter. I miss old Monster Hunter, to be honest. Like
Generations was peak for me, dude. There were a few like really small streamers.
I like Gen over GU, but I just like
I don't know. I'd have to think about that because like GU's good, man. GU's got Valor GS in it. Like
here's the thing. My problem with GU is that GU had so much more power creep and ramp to it. It was a little crazy. I mean, it's not like Gen was all that difficult, like, because, Valor, everything was pretty OP in Gen. But I felt like...
Gen, Valor didn't exist in Gen.
I mean, sorry, Adept.
Adept.
Yeah,
okay.
Adept
I didn't know what you meant. I was like...
That's it, because Valor didn't exist. Valor is pretty ridiculous. But Adept stuff was pretty fun. And I thought the difficulty, especially with, like, all the event quests and stuff, and, like, the rank 10 deviants, the hyper slows, hyper devil joe, and like all those other event quests, I think those were really good quests at the time. Whereas like
Hyper Silver, fuck Hyper Silver,
dude, Hyper Silver was a crazy fight. It's just you're one tapping you all over the place. But I think Gen was just really good with like the difficulty and what the tools they gave you. But I think GU just kind of cranked everything up a little bit and made it a little bit more crazy and almost free.
I don't get the EX deviants because like your reward was what, transmog color?
You get transmog of their armor sets onto anything. You couldn't transmog the deviant sets without doing the EX.
So it's like Extremoth, right?
Yeah,
because I only ever beat a few, and I don't know. Maybe it's it's more of a high level speedrun thing than I was playing at the time.
It's just a thing to do because like the level 15 or whatever hunts, the G5 versions are typically the monster and like one or two other monsters, and that's what you need to get like your weapons and armor. But then,
God, the Thunderlord was disgusting. I think it was like a Furious Jang, and then Thunderlord, and then like, oh god, something else. Yeah, there was some disgusting quest.
I think it was Ryzex. It was Azure Bolt with him too. No, it was fucking Snow Baron. Was a fucking awful fight. It was 2 Snow Barons and Savage Joe, which was awful.
Shit. Yeah, it was.
And then I remember that Frost Peak was Frost Peak and 2 Hyper Blagongas. Because fuck that.
That's the literal worst. If you strapped me down to a table and held my eyes open like Clockwork Orange style and said, "Hey Cera, what's the worst quest you can think of?" That would be it.
No way.
Hyper Blagonga Gammoth? Are you kidding me? Gammoth in any form.
Because ice monsters are the worst. Ice monsters are fucking terrible.
No, it's not that. It's Gammoth. I hate Gammoth. Gammoth is the worst.
Frost Peak's terrible. But also I hate Blagonga. And I hate Snow Baron. I hate ice monsters. That's my thing. I don't like ice monsters at all.
I think there's been like 1 or 2 good ice monsters, and that was like Volcana and then Anoru, and that was it.
I like Volcana, and I like Boss Kebab, I guess, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like ice monsters are just awful. Barrier, ugh. Zamtrios is an ice monster. I fucking love Zamtrios.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's one in there.
Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah,
talking about Generations, how you enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, it's just like
multiplayer scaling.
So much time in Gen. Like Gen was just so well balanced. I feel. Yeah, there were some things that were strong, but I don't feel like anything was like super OP. Like Valor Longsword, Valor Heavy Bowgun, and
then I think like most end game fights, you still had like a solid. I think high level speedruns at that point were pushing like sub 4s on like average stuff like Lavinus or Mizu or whatever, but you still had like sub 6s for things like Nakarkus or
I like Nakarkus.
Amatsu. Oh god, I used to watch that. Was Kanta's like epiphany. Kanta was pounding out videos during that. I've got to look up Kanta's playlist actually.
It wasn't Kanta doing Nakarkus, it was Scorpion. Scorpion has the world record for Gen for every weapon on Nakarkos.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking specifically about Nakarkos, but really, I've never heard of Scorpion. Please tell me more. Scorpion
was just a Monster Hunter player. I don't know. I don't see him around Discords. I don't see him playing any other games, but he was around in Gen, and he
shows up.
Loved Nakarkos. Yeah, and so he
shows up, establishes new world record for.
Well, I mean,
Nakarkos,
it's like nobody had fucking modded 3DSs and stuff to upload.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. It was a price gate. So nobody had I think it's 500 quid or 400 quid when I looked it up in the UK. And this is back in like 2013. So who knows what it was now. And then, of course, the main company that was making it went out of business and closed down and all that shit. So that just doesn't exist anymore. So I'm looking here. Level 10 Silverwind Nagakuga Kanta is 834. Nakarkos Prowler at 929. There's a lot of demo stuff here. But a lot of these are Prowler as well. Nagakuga Striker Charge Blade was in Gen, yes. Thunderlord solo with Insect Glaive is 623. You know, you've got actual reasonable times. Yeah. And it's not like Odogaron where it's like hammer, lock, sub 1 minute.
Yeah, that's what a lot
this is of course just going off of Kanta's times as well.
Right, and Kanta's not like, the best of the best, but Kanta is solid across the board. Kanta is a great baseline to go across.
Yeah. Oh,
any weapon, any monster, that's your baseline.
Yeah. I said that starting my channel. I was like, if I'm going to specify a video, specify a run, I'll look up the best time right now with that weapon. But if I'm going for a baseline, I'll see if Kanta's got a video. Because Kanta, and not meaning out of disrespect, but Kanta's definitely a jack of all trades. And I think Monster Hunter Cross kind of promoted that, to try all these different things. Like Prowler Astalos sub 5. Wow. Alatrion Solo Guild Hammer 956. Like 956 on Alatrion.
Yeah.
Dude, a Guild Hammer though on Alatreon was pretty decent.
I forget.
Pretty fun.
Gen have sharpness evade, whatever it was called, readiness evasion, or is that specifically GU?
GU, oh god, I'm trying to remember because that's a frontier skill as well. So I think the one you're thinking of is like challenge evade or sharp sheath or some kind of challenge sheath, sharp evade.
I know it's readiness evasion. But
absolute. Oh no, absolute readiness. You mean the hunter art?
Yeah. Oh, it's absolute evasion, absolute readiness. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Readiness was in Gen. Yeah.
It was. So they did have both the evasions in Gen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, because that was the one thing they do have both. I assume here. That's the only thing I didn't like about Gen was that you had 2 evasion skills, and every weapon boiled down to, are you using both of them, or are you using like fucking adept at that point? So it's either your striker with 2 of those in one art, or like, you had at least one. Every weapon had one of those. And then some weapons ran 2 on guild or whatever, but like everyone had like all these fucking evasion skills where you'd be like, I don't care about this attack, and then you hit like 2 more times and you have it ready again. You could just free evade like fucking everything.
That was like 2 or 3 weapons at most. That was switch axe, sword and shield, and
dual blades. Great sword also
dual blades.
did it.
Strike. I don't think anybody. I ran.
No, you played guild great sword with just the 2 evasions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've seen some with brimstone.
Yeah, but I mean, I think most runs ran 2.
I haven't seen enough greatsword runs to say yes or no.
Okay, because I just...
How about that?
Fair enough.
How about that?
I just know a lot of weapons just ran like all those evasions, and that's like, okay, I don't have to bother dodging. I'll just fucking evade.
Well, the big thing at the time as well was Gaijin Hunter talking about the Striker Lance setup, because Striker Lance having the whole like 80 motion value finisher on the charge attack.
Yeah, well, the poke for God knows what numbers.
Yeah, so people would run absolute evade, absolute readiness, and rage guard.
Yeah, and rage guard, whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Gen was crazy though. It was still really fun. What a good game. Hey, Fem, how about we talk about the actual topic of this?
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're like fucking like 30 minutes in. And... I mean, it's Monster Hunter. We have to talk about Monster Hunter. That's a thing.
We do. Final closing words is that I've been recently running Charge Blade, and on PC it feels way better, but it still is Charge Blade and Rise. Hey, this is the propaganda moment. If you're watching, go fucking play Charge Blade and Rise. Django or Naga. Do it. Who cares about guns? Don't worry when it swallows your L2 input. That's normal, I swear. Listen, I'm trying to counteract your propaganda here. But the main thing that we are here to talk about is Pokemon.
Right. And Jin's not here because he's not played it, which is ridiculous, right?
Oh. Like, well, yes and no. It's Jin, right? He wants to stomp fools. In his words, he'd probably be like clown on cats or something, right?
Clown on
Not
cats.
To speak for him. He'd say something like that,
some
right?
Weird shit. Yeah.
Pokemon Arceus.
What a surprise, to be honest. So I think we're like 2 weeks after launch of Arceus, something like that. I think it came out like on the 8th or something.
I think that's right. Let me look it up while you talk.
But anyway, so Pokemon Arceus, we had talked a lot about it before the game came out, thinking that, it looks like shit. The game probably is going to be garbage. It's something different. It's going to be just like a, cash grab kind of game where they're like, hey, we're just going to get out another Pokemon game to get out another Pokemon game. Because they had just did like the Diamond Pearl remakes, and they're like, hey, we got to get more Pokemon shit out there. And it turned out, it is far from the truth, actually. It is a fucking good Pokemon game.
Oh, yeah. So it was 3 weeks, by the way. 28th of January. I forgot it was a January release.
Wow, it's been 3 weeks.
I know. Kind of interesting. I think I called it. I'm going to be smug here. I think I called it on one of the podcasts where I said I wasn't expecting it to be amazing, like the best game in the world, but I was expecting it to be new and fresh and hopefully fun. And I think, in my opinion, Arceus has ticked all of those boxes. Brilliant new take. Yeah, brilliant new take. Because you as well, Fem, you had bunch of guides ready to go, and on launch day, you dropped like 10 trillion of them?
I dropped like 11 videos because like I made so much shit because I was having so much fun with Arceus and just like catching Pokemon and figuring shit out. I was just like, this game was just really good. It was so much better than I thought it was gonna be. So it was one of those like, I'm gonna make fucking videos for this.
Yeah, yeah. I had the same. I was like talking to my friends. I'm like, yeah, I want to stream tonight. I want to do this, want to do that. Rise PC, blah 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 blah. And then I booted up Arceus, and I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, I'm gonna play Arceus. Like, I was just, it sucks you in. It sucks you in, and I don't know if it's a good. Hang on, yeah, end cut here. I'm making you do more edits. So my experience was on emulator, which started out with a ton of problems because the emulator didn't have the capacity to adjust for Arceus.
Well, it wasn't supported. It was not, because the emulator like Ryujin was made for Monster Hunter, not Pokemon.
Was it really made for Monster Hunter specifically?
Yeah, Ryujin specifically was for Monster Hunter. That's why all the Monster Hunter games run really good on it, and also it gets updated frequently to run them really good.
Yeah, I've only just managed to get it set up to run stably for Arceus, but yeah, it was a really, really rough start, but then I eventually got around to it, and it kind of helped because after all my save problems with Rise on PC, that I couldn't play the game for fucking 10 days or some shit.
Yeah, you had time to kill.
Yeah, playing Arceus was a dream. Cyndaquil starter, absolutely.
Dude, I didn't know they were changing the starter forms. And
did you know?
No, so I picked the Owl Rufflet because I was like, oh dude, Grass Ghost, that's great. I love his typing. I love his attacks, great Pokemon. And then because he doesn't change, like his first two forms totally the same. No. I was like, okay, whatever. And then the third one, when he evolved, I'm like, wait, I looked at like Bulbapedia, I'm like, that's not what he is. And then like you had like, you know, grass fighting. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? I already have, like, I had Chimchar on my team already. I'm like, I already have a fighting type. Like, I had fire fighting. I was like, he's great. And then I was like, well, now I have this guy. And I'm like, but grass fighting is the worst fucking typing I've ever seen. It's fucking bad.
Nah. It's a terrible typing, but there's another grass fighting in the game, which is Lilligant. Hisuian Lilligant goes fucking hard. She gets a unique move where she adds 50% to her damage, gets an offensive and defensive buff, and often it's like a quicker move. It's like quick attack.
Oh, Jesus
So you
Christ,
can do it twice in a row. So you buff yourself, you drain punch as well. It's basically like Breloom's wife is what it is. Yeah. Hisuian Lilligant goes really fucking hard. I'd recommend.
Cool. I didn't use that. I had just dumped my starter, and I was just like, fuck this thing, because it's weak to everything. I was like, god damn it. Like, every Pokemon in that game, it had like something that it was weak to.
An ice move or a flying move or something.
Yeah, or poison. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, I don't know what they did with that game, but every fucking Pokemon, like an alpha or a trainer, had coverage for days.
Yeah,
dude.
Coverage.
And they could get in and attacks because there was no like, hey, they're bringing out this Pokemon. Do you want to swap? Nuh-uh. They just come in with no options. They start swinging 2-3 times, and then your Pokemon said, you're like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that was a huge thing with trainer battles, especially the post game, that one post game battle.
Yeah,
where you would get a score and then you basically just have to trade or hope that you had a tank on your team. Like you actually had to bring like a
Pokemon. Like I was like, dude, all these hyper offensive shit ain't gonna cut it.
Gudra, Snorlax, all that kind of stuff. You go for those. Yeah,
Gudra, Togekiss, and Gastrodon was my core. Those guys fucking carried.
Yeah, you just switch them in and hope they survive. But no, Arceus was, like I said, wasn't expecting it to look good, wasn't expecting it to be groundbreaking, or, you know, like the best game ever. You know how everybody's hyped up Cyberpunk to be.
Yeah, the best
Rest
game
in
ever.
peace.
Yeah, how that went.
And how people are worryingly hyping Elden Ring up to be and so on.
I'm worried too. The hype's getting a little out of hand.
Dude, I've watched no other YouTube video today aside from Vati Vidya and Yumfa, and played DS3 today. I've been so ready for it. I haven't seen
anything on I didn't even play the technical test for Elden Ring. Know nothing about it. The only thing I saw was that little fucking cut sheet that showed the starter classes and what they like description of. But anyway, fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, and I said it was going to be, you know, it was going to be not amazing, but it was going to be new and fresh, and there's going to be a bunch of new concepts and new Pokemon introduced, and just the fact it's something different, I think people would like. And honestly, I've had so many people when I'm streaming or talking to friends or whatever say, I'd given up on Pokemon, but everybody's so hyped about Arceus. I got it, I bought it, I downloaded it, I'm going to give it a try. And they've gone back and they've said, look at the size of my Pokemon, look at my Pokemon, isn't that great? And they're excited about it, and that's cool,
Well, because it's the only thing to be excited for as a Pokemon fan in the past 15 years. Pokemon hasn't evolved or changed at all. It's been so stagnant, and I've gotten so over it. I haven't played the last couple of Pokemon games because I think
as a correction, probably it's the only time where the excitement for a Pokemon game's paid off, because people were excited for Sword and Shield.
True, because it was the first
Pokemon game Switch. Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
a full price game, because Pokemon games have always been on the handhelds and they've been $30, $35. And now it's we have full price Pokemon games, and it's hey, Sword and Shield came out, we're gonna gut 90% of the roster, we're gonna gut the moves, we're gonna have no animations, and it's gonna be $60, and the game's gonna last 8 hours, and you're like, what the fuck?
So how much was Sword and Shield in the DLC? It got to be close to $100. But
the DLCs were $30. It's a $120 game for the base game and the 2 DLCs.
Yeah,
four times the cost of a Pokemon game.
Sword and Shield was not a $60 game.
No.
Arceus, I will still say, is not a $60 game,
40
but it's worth.
Would have been really cool for it.
Arceus, however, is worth more than Sword and Shield.
Definitely, because Arceus has problems. Don't get us wrong, it's got issues. They need to improve.
Looks like a PS2 game.
Yeah, the graphics are shit and a half. We thought they were gonna be bad going in. They're really bad. There was not hyped enough of how bad those graphics are gonna be. They've also gutted a lot of things. Pokemon don't have any abilities. The move pool is a fifth of what it is in normal Pokemon games. The roster is pretty bare bones. There's a lot of stuff that was just cut out to make this game, but I think it's fucking amazing ground that they have started with here. All they got to do is expand on this now going forward, and I think it's fucking spot on.
Do you think the worrying thing about it though is that if they use the Legends, let's say, so I was talking about this again the other day, where if now Legends is the
its own spin-off thing, we have Legends Legends that.
Yeah, so if we go by the mythical Pokemon, let's say we have a Johto-based one that is Legends Celebi, or Legends Jirachi, or Legends Victini for 5th gen, and so on. Do you reckon they succumb to the Game Freak curse of going, well, it's Pokemon and it's popular, so we don't need to put effort in? That's the only reservation that I have, because I think that Arceus really does have a solid base here. They gave it a decent end game. They gave it an end game, which has been something that's been barren from, the first... 3 generations of Pokemon?
Gold Silver had an end game, because after you finish the base story,
a post game,
the post game, after you finish your initial Elite Four, they're hey, guess what? Go back to Kanto.
Okay.
And you're oh shit, we can do more. And all the trainers are fucking level 60 plus, and that Gen 2 was really good. I like Gen 2. No, you don't like Gen 2?
Dude, I fucking hate Gen 2. I'm sorry. I hate it.
Heart Gold Soul Silver is the best Pokemon game.
No, it's not. It's the worst.
Black and White's good. Black and White is definitely there.
Black and White aren't even my favorite, dude.
What is your fucking favorite Pokemon game? It's not Heart Gold Soul Silver. It's not Black and White or Black White 2?
It's fucking Ruby and Sapphire or Sun and Moon, maybe.
Those aren't terrible games, to be honest. I like Sun and Moon,
not.
And I like Ruby Sapphire.
All right. You know my problem with Johto is the fact that you go to Kanto and you're sweet, the gym leaders are at level 60. Then you go into some grass and you get accosted by a level 13 Rattata. And then when you're at Claire's gym, who's got level 50, 45s, around about that area, and your Pokemon is kind of the same, you go into the grass and you have to fight level 30s. The level curve is garbage on that game. It's so bad, and there's no... we've been spoiled, of course, with the start of Ruby and Sapphire for an overarching story and cool legendaries and stuff, but it just doesn't do it for me. The Johto Pokemon are just lackluster, and a lot of the cool ones,
them, and then we're looked at the Johto list, and we're these Pokemon kind of suck, huh?
Yeah, and you look at cool things though, like Scizor, and you're great, but I need to trade it to do that. And now that we have emulators, it's more difficult to do that, which is obviously the best way to play Pokemon nowadays. And yeah, just Johto doesn't do it for me anymore. But I can go back in and play Sapphire and speedrun Sapphire, which I was trying to learn, or play Sun and Moon or whatever, and I'd be like, cool Pokemon, cool areas. There's problems with all of them, sure, but Johto, man, but a Legends Johto in imagine Johto, right? Living out the story of when the second tower burnt down and you see Ho-Oh descend.
Was it you that I was talking to about that? I thought I was talking to someone about like Johto, Legends of Pokemon Legends, whatever Johto is going to be, or the 3 dogs, or the whatever you want to call it.
Ho-Oh coming down to the tower and resurrecting shit and stopping the fire and
yeah, of doing all that stuff like before the tower burnt down, and like doing like an alternate timeline where other shit went crazy. Because ever since, I think it was it X and Y or Ruby, I think it was Omega Ruby Sapphire, they've acknowledged the Pokemon multiverse with their weird dimensional thing.
It was Omega Ruby, because Zinnia in the Delta episode was like, maybe there's another world where this doesn't happen, and so on.
Yeah. And so we've had like these multiverse things going on with Pokemon now, which is cool. I'm all for it. So like, if they want to do that, if that's what they're gonna do with these branches of Legends games, great. Let's go back and have like Pokemon Legends with, go back to Johto, where it's a different thing before the tower burns down and the dogs or some other shit happen. The unknowns go crazy and other weird shit.
Imagine how hard Pokemon Legends Mewtwo would go. Imagine how raw that shit would be.
Dude,
Mewtwo being created in a lab, going to Cinnabar.
Isn't it weird that like in Legends Arceus, you're a part of Team Galactic before Team Galactic, kind of like an alternate Team Galactic?
And then what's her name? Celia or whatever? Like
it's
Cyrus.
It's all the people were like the bad people from the other games. Like, oh my god, it's you, and all that shit. It was crazy. I like the NPCs. Unfortunately, the dialogue was shit, but.
No, but like the NPC design, I think that's what Pokemon does well, right?
Yeah.
Like Sword and Shield, everybody had like, oh, here's a cool character, or here's a waifu, or whatever, because they are kind of leaning into that. Let's be honest,
Oh, for sure.
So
they know their audience is all 30+ years old at this point.
that's where we get it, because like everybody was thirsty for what's her fucking name, the water gym leader in Sword and Shield, Nessa.
Yeah, Nessa.
Yeah, everybody was thirsty for her, and they made her to be that way, and I think there's characters in Legends Arceus that are like that, but that's a whole other discussion, not to be had here, but to be had elsewhere by furries. All this kind of potential that Legends Arceus shows is beautiful. It's a genuinely just fun game. Even though you could kind of condense it down to at the end game, you just pick up sticky gloves, lob them at a Pokemon or smoke bombs or whatever, and then you go in for the heavy ball to the back of the net.
If you even need that, like sometimes I just throw Ultra Balls at Alphas and they just catch. Like I'm just running around throwing Pokeballs and like just like catch. Like, all right, whatever. Yeah,
eventually it works. You can adopt a bit of a caveman style, but if you do indulge yourself and play by the game's rules and hide in the grass.
Like using terrain. Also, like stuff just blocks line of sight works too. Like I was hiding around rocks and trees and shit, and then I was creeping in with smoke bombs and like distracting them with other items. Like it was really fun. They just need to like branch on it.
My favorite thing was like expounding on that. So whenever a space-time distortion would form, you'd hope that there'd be a patch of grass in that, because if you do, you hide in that, and just as it forms, you wait like 10 seconds, you throw a berry, and then the first 3 Pokemon spawn, they go immediately to the berry, and you're like, okay, bitch, Eevee,
Yeah,
so
they always had an Eevee in them.
Always. It's like Eevee or fucking, oh god, what was the other one? Toxicroak was the one for me. Always showed up.
But so I was saying though, like I would love for them to do this going forward and have, even if they do just branch off and they have their normal Pokemon games where they do like their VGC and shit, because obviously Legends is not for that at all. And then they have another side spin-off where they're just gonna start doing Legends games. I would be totally okay with that. If rather than going forward they did like, whatever the next game's going to be, and there's like 2 game versions, let's stop that shit. Let's do, you can release 2 games, but you're going to release your next Pokemon game, and then like 2 months later you can release your Legends game, and we'll have those be the 2 Pokemon games going down, not buying like Sword and Shield and whatever games twice, because I think we're getting past that at that point.
I agree.
How cool would it be if we had Legends Legends Kanto, and then you had to play as like a Team Rocket grunt, but you're like Team Rocket before they're like evil, and you get to see like Giovanni experimenting and catching Pokemon and starting the cloning shit, and you get like Mewtwo's there, and it's about Mewtwo, but you don't know it right away.
Dude,
and then he breaks through halfway through the game, and then it's about stopping Mewtwo from destroying the world.
You know, the worst thing about Giovanni is the fact that the gacha game gives Giovanni more of a personality than it does in the main game, because Giovanni suffers from being the first bad guy, right? He is literally the mafioso. He's, you know, got his suit. He's called Giovanni. He's got an Italian name. He's the mob.
He's a gym leader, though, man.
That was the only twist they gave him. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, he's the gym leader of Viridian XD, you know. But the fact that he is not expounded upon, you know, even Maxie and Archie in the third gen games, if you go back in the original Ruby and Sapphire to Mount Pyre, they're returning the orb out of remorse. They're doing that. Whereas you beat Giovanni and it finally goes, okay, shit, I got ratioed on Twitter. I'm going to delete my account. That's literally what he did. He got ratioed and then deletes his account. He doesn't show up after that at all.
What Pokemon game? I think, didn't he kill himself or something? Was it in like the Pokemon? There was that weird red and blue like short anime that they did.
Origins?
Yeah, was it Origins or something? Or didn't Giovanni kill himself?
No, I think in Origins, which is, you mean the Pokemon short that like tells the story of Red and Blue through the eyes of Red and Blue. No, I think Giovanni just like gave up. Like he didn't do anything else.
Hold on,
he just went, you beat me, and that's it.
Was it Heart Gold, Soul Silver?
Oh, there was also Heart Gold and Soul Silver where you go to the past in an event and you see Silver talking to Giovanni. Oh yeah, that was it. Like you go back to the past where Giovanni gets the message from the Rocket team in during Gold and Silver, and then he responds he ignores it and goes, "Yeah, I'm going back to the shadows," or something like that. But that's like the most characterization they've given him.
I could have sworn I said somewhere. God, I gotta figure it out. Somewhere it said Giovanni killed himself after all this shit because he was.
So this is the new plan for you. The question of the day, watchers. Go find the fan fiction that Fem was reading where Giovanni kills himself.
I don't know what it was. All I remember is I think Giovanni killed
Maybe himself. He was a wolf, a femboy wolf or something. But yeah, they've given no characterization to Giovanni aside from being the bad guy, you know? And seeing a Legends Mew or a Legends Mewtwo where you do the whole South Brazil exploration where you find Mew and then you do so this.
Crazy.
And you know what it is I just want Mewtwo Strikes Back again, because that film went so fucking hard. There was no reason for Mewtwo Strikes Back to have the music, the scenes, the danger to life, the
dialogue,
it did.
Just a script.
Yeah. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant, and I'm just like,
You're like a 9-year-old kid, like, what the fuck?
Dude, I'm a fucking almost 27-year-old bloke, and I'm like, yeah, that goes hard as fuck. Who cares? It's war shit. He is.
But also, it would give us an excuse to have dialogue in a Pokemon game because Mewtwo could talk to us. Can we get fucking dialogue? That's
gonna be it. I was gonna say, if there was ever gonna be a Pokemon that would need voice acting, it would be Arceus, but no, we didn't get that.
Why would Arceus need voice acting?
Because he's literally God.
And he talks to you, but I mean, I don't know. I guess.
Did you do that, by the way? Did you get to the Arceus encounter?
Nope. I did not finish my Pokedex. I was just like, I got better things to do.
I did.
I know. I saw.
Wisp hunting. Wisp hunting fucking sucks, right? I had to resort to a guide, but that is
you had to get Spiritomb. Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't want to get all the wisps. I was like, fuck that.
The wisps sucked, but the unknown hunting was really fun. It's kind of like how Rise did the treasure hunting in a way, but it actually tells you where it is, and you have to like. It's also like how people compare Arceus to Breath of the Wild, but instead of 9 trillion Korok seeds, you have to find 28 unknown.
Mm-hmm. I caught like 7 of them.
So, yeah. Some of them were really tough. Some of them you need like specific Pokeballs to get. I thought it was really fun. You know, if you just went through it alphabetically and just went, okay, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Beautiful. The unknown hunting was really, really good. One of actually my favorite post-game activities, just hunting the unknown, just going to a different area. Although if we're talking about improvements to be made to Pokemon Arceus, why the fuck do I have to go back to a village before I go to another area?
I know, every time you go out, have to go back to the village because it's Monster Hunter. You just have to keep going back to the village every fucking time.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love that grind way more because it's a treasure hunt, and the clues they give you are pretty clear in some cases. There's like a couple that are a bit terrible, but yeah, if I had the ability to go from the ice map to the bog map without having to pass through the village, even though I'm on emulator and all this kind of stuff, it's just so much easier, you know?
Mm-hmm. If it was an actual like open world where you could just go around and like fast travel between camps, not like
well, the annoying thing is like you go, oh, I'm in the village, let me fast travel, and then you zoom into the map and try and choose which camp, but no, you have to zoom out, click on the map, and then choose which camp from a drop down menu, and it's kind of counterintuitive, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's funny. What was I gonna say? Crap. Oh, so speaking of like the treasure hunting and stuff, is it just me, or was like the side quest description and map markers fucking useless? Like if you didn't remember what the person said like during the little quest dialogue, you had no idea what the fuck you were doing and who to talk to. And
yeah. So I think you need to like select the thing on the options menu, so you open up the map and you can choose which quest.
Yeah, you can like highlight it, make it like, hey, this is my primary quest now. You can do that to side quests. But it still didn't like, they didn't point you. They just like, oh, it's in this region. Or...
No, what they do is they would go, hey, here's the NPC that will give you the reward. But then you go to them, you talk to them, they say, hey, go do this for me, blah, blah, blah. The worst one I had is there was a guy in the swamp area who was like, I've dropped a charm near an alpha hippowdon or something. Go find it.
Oh, yeah, it's in the mud. I did that one, yeah.
Yeah, I think you had to select him, but then if you walked to where the quest marker was, you just speak to him again, and you had to actually go out and do it. Is that for the better or the worse? I don't know. It's relatively easy to find.
All they need to do really is because if you forget like what the person read, or because a lot of them they don't like tell you again. Like if you talk to the person, they don't like refresh the quest dialogue. They just said, "Hey, did you find it yet?" or whatever. Yeah. I just wish the quest log had adequate description of what they said on where to go look.
What was the hardest one for you? Because I've got a couple in mind.
Lord of the Ocean.
Oh, the Manaphy one? I think that's supposed to be hard. I think that's supposed to be...
I had no fucking idea what that was.
No. Like... I only knew what to do because I saw people retweet stuff and be like, hey, you know, BDSP has this different lore now. Go do that. And I'm like, oh, great. I guess I got to get Overquill now. Great.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do that at all. They just like, the guy just said, hey, go out to the water and go find out, you know, the Lord of the Ocean. And I was just like, where?
The fact that I think that could have been improved for people who didn't buy BDSP, of just like maybe an inscription near it saying, actually, you know what? There's the perfect fucking place. If you go into that area, so this is the area where you meet Paulina and Askian, the Diamond and Pearl clan people who are fucking each other or something.
Yeah.
Where you first get Basque Legion. The perfect thing would be there's an alcove just as you're going to the Firespell Island. There's like an alcove where the legendary Pokemon are like on the wall, but you only get flavor text when you interact with them.
Yeah.
What if instead when you interact with them, it said go between the two horns and bring these Pokemon? Like how they did with the Reggies, where it's like, oh, Wailord first and Relicanth last. What if they gave you a clue out in the world like that to indicate that? But no, you have to own a completely different game. I think unless a new clue for that shit resurfaces after this podcast comes up, that was abhorrent. That was a pretty bad thing. No, for me, it was either the manlet Buizel was the fucking worst because you can't see what size it is, the tall Buizel.
You had to go and catch like an alpha Buizel.
Yeah, and
I got one through a dimensional rift. That was the only one I.
Oh, you did the power of alchemy to summon your tall Buizel. But for me, God, there was another one that was like, there was a really, really fun. Oh, it was the Combi guy, where he's hey,
you have to get this Combi on this island, and it's like, they don't spawn here, but it's a rare spawn in the tree.
In the shaking tree. Yeah. But fuck Combi.
Combi's not a fun quest. There's a couple of those quests where just kind of like whatever. That's one of the things I do want them to improve on. I also want to improve on, well, we mentioned before, dialogue. I'm so tired of Pokemon games with especially Arceus, how much dialogue there was. The game was at least like half of it was dialogue and just clicking. And there's like no background music or anything when people are talking, so you just hear bing, 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 bing as like they're fucking going through the lines, and it gets really annoying really quick.
Yeah, that was a big thing as well. Like no background music in a lot of the areas. Sometimes you go like, I feel like Pokemon actually benefits from like areas have more impact when there's no background music. So Ruby and Sapphire, when you get to the final area of Kyogre or Groudon's dungeon, there's no background music.
And yeah, for the first time it's quiet. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and you're in the center of the earth, and you're like facing off against this beast of the elements, and it means something, you know. But final conclusion with Arceus is the damn good game, very worth your time, very worth investing in, and a pretty substantial post game as well. Like catching Pokemon is fun in this game. It's not a turn-based piece of shit. Sometimes it is just like an action kind of thing.
I stopped using my Pokemon at post game. I was just catching with my favorite item, the mud ball. It was my favorite thing ever.
Sticky gloves, man, you got to upgrade. Sticky gloves are like mud bomb times 2.
But you have infinite mud bombs. Once you get Heatran, like you could just keep going back into Heatran's lair and collect 20 mud bombs at a time. You just go back and forth. I got like 700 of them. Just fucking.
Yeah. All right, okay, that sounds like broke bitch to me. I'm just buying my sticky gloves, my man. I'm just out here fucking spreading my cash. What are you saying?
I was poor all the fucking time.
Well, that was one thing, is the money management, the item slots, and oh god, there was one other thing that they need to improve massively. There was like there were a couple of little niggles that just needed to be ironed out. Like the item slots were the worst, because you'd go out and you get so caught up in it, you gather this and get that and get this and get that, and then you'd end up with a bunch of like corn and leaves in your backpack.
Yeah, item management in a Pokemon game is like, why?
Yeah, exactly.
I need to carry 18 different Pokeballs on me. Come on.
Well, you're just out here with an armful of vegetables. You're like, oh, I've got this corn. It can be used in this one specific Pokeball that only works if I piss on the moon, but I'm saving it. So there was that. There's some of the quest directions that were a bit odd, but overall, fucking solid game for the Pokemon franchise. Like it.
Good step forward. Really good step forward.
Amazing step forward. And I'm very glad that it lived up to my tentative expectations, where I was like, yeah,
it was a low bar, but it jumped over that bar. Like,
even if it was a mid bar, I think it did that. I think Arceus is. Oh, I remember who it was. It was Herney. Good old Herney was like, I haven't touched a Pokemon game because I know it's going to betray me, and I think he bought it the other day and went, yeah, this shit's fun.
Yeah, that's how I was too. I was just like, I don't want to play it because I know it's going to be shit. And then I started playing it. I was like, oh man.
Oh,
it's a good Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. And I'm very glad to see it because I love the franchise, you know?
Yeah, I just hope they continue it. I mean, they have to. I think it's got nothing but like good praise. Like, yeah, there's criticism, but overall, everyone mutually agrees it's like the best fucking Pokemon game.
You know what it is? It's not Pokemon criticism though. It's not like the shit we had with Sword and Shield, where it's like, look at the Nintendo 64 tree or whatever. Like, there are actual criticisms of Sword and Shield that are valid, but a lot of it ends up being hijacked by the graphics motherfuckers on Twitter who were like, oh, N64 tree, oh this, oh that, oh, you know, it decks it and all that. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I think I'm of the opinion that there's almost 1,000 Pokemon. I think expecting all of them to be in a game at this point is kind of misguided, you know?
I'm under the impression that going forward, Pokemon needs to stop making new Pokemon, because yes, 1,000 is plenty, but do like I would say region forms, but even something different than that. Like, I want, like, I forget what it was like a decade ago, I saw like a picture of a bunch of different Vaporeons. I know what you're thinking, don't think it, but a bunch of different Vaporeons.
You said it. I know what you're thinking, but
BJ's gonna watch this. But anyway, but it was a Vaporeon, and then they had like the normal one, and then they had like one for like Vaporeons from the ocean, so it was a bigger Vaporeon.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
And
I know
like the swamp one, where it was water, grass, and it had like swamp leaves over it, and it was just like different regions of the same Pokemon, which is kind of like what they're doing. But I need all the Pokemon for different seasons and regions to just be a little bit different. And they could just do that, because it'd be the same thing as fucking Monster Hunter making like variants and subspecies and shit, and they're just fucking crapping those out left and right. Like, just
I think that the new forms they brought in with Alola, was it Alola? Yeah, it was Alola. I think the new forms they brought in.
Dude, Chubby Cheeks Raticate's the best Pokemon.
Fucking nah. Oh god, which one was it? There was one specific form that I loved beyond belief. I think it's Surfetched. No, Surfetched. Dugtrio was really good, like Ground Steel as well. I love Steel types, so. But Surfetched was badass.
Surfetched was badass, yeah.
But yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Cool too. But
oh yeah, the rainbow one. Yeah, it's like poison dark or something.
Yeah, poison dark oil slick muck. Yeah, it's like, dude, you look sick.
Yeah.
But they just do stuff like that. Stop making more Pokemon. Just do changes. Yeah,
exactly. Alolan Vulpix. There's so many cool different things they could do with the existing roster they have. And like I don't think it's 1,000. I think it's like 800 and something. But it's still
like 890 something. But yeah,
enough. It's enough. Like stop. Just give us now. Look back. And the Hisuian forms are badass. I spoke about Lilligant earlier. You mentioned Decadui. Typhlosion as well. Typhlosion's a fucking nobody, but then they gave him ghost typing, and I'm like, hell yes.
Yeah, Fire Ghost, because we don't have Chandelure, sadly.
Sadly, yes, but Fire Ghost is an awesome type.
Dude, however, Hisui Arcanine drew the short stick.
I mean, he drew the short stick in terms of its typing, but have you seen the guy?
I mean, he's cool looking for sure, but yeah, Fire Rock was like, dude, you are weak to everything on this fucking game. Because every fucking Pokemon had Earth Power or something.
Or High Horsepower.
Yeah,
when that Snorlax showed up, I was like, hey, higher horsepower. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. Okay. Yeah. I'm dead now.
Dude, those alpha Pokemon don't fuck around, dude. Like,
oh, they don't at all. When I will tell you though, my favorite Pokemon out of this whole game is Sliggoo and Goodra.
Yeah.
Dragon Skill, badass typing. Sliggoo looks adorable with his little arms over his shell, and he's so cute. And then Goodra is like depressed, but with the snail tail. Yeah.
Shelter was super OP.
Shelter was also super OP, and Goomy was just still Goomy. Which was great.
All hail Goomy.
Dude, have you seen the art where it's like they went, oh, I made a Hisuian Goomy, and it's a steel beanie, and it's got the little ears, like the beanie ears, like the Russian hats.
No, that's cool.
Hold on, I gotta look this up and send it to you because it's the cutest thing. But yeah, all this kind of stuff. The alpha Pokemon as well having a size difference. Like there's an alpha Garchomp.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's huge, and then alpha Gardevoir as well.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be memed upon forever.
Of course it was. I know somebody already who's got like 5 alpha Gardevoir. I think Sephiroth made it his objective to get all of his Pokemon to be alphas. So he has an alpha Frostlass and an alpha Togekiss. There you go. Let me send this to you. So this is Hisuian Goomy with a beanie. Look at this little guy.
Let me just look at my phone, so I have to move my cameras around.
This is also audience, me forcing
that's super cool.
You want to show it to the camera? Go on.
I mean, I'll just overlay it, but
yeah, look at this little guy. I love him. Look how happy he is.
Yeah, that's cool. I love Goomy.
Yeah. Goomy's great.
But yeah, Legends of Arceus is a pretty fucking good game. Obviously,
pretty fucking good.
They have to, if they're not going to make some major changes, they can't have this be the main kind of Pokemon game going forward, just because there's no PvP, there's no online aspect at all. They gutted all the Pokemon abilities and stuff, which I feel like they had to gut the abilities and the moves just to make it fit with the whole third person they can attack you kind of thing. That's why the move pool is low, just so they don't have to animate 900 fucking moves and out in the open.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But I feel like if they go this route in the future, they need to add PvP of some sort or something, because once you kind of like get to your end game grind and like you did like your little side quest, you're like, well, now what?
You know, one thing I'd suggest, you remember how Johto had the bug catching tournament where you had to catch X amount against NPCs?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's the PvP in Arceus?
What if, let me take this a step forward, you had stuff like that, you had a fishing catching thing, you had Safari Zone where you're playing against other people.
Oh, dude, fucking Scout Camp with Pokemon? like holiday camp with Pokemon, beach episode.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
shit like that.
You know what? I don't know if you're fucking around or not, but that actually does sound really fun.
It would be
with
cool,
Arceus' mechanic, right? Actually, no, there was no fishing in Arceus, was there?
There was not.
That's it. There we go. Arceus 2, add fishing. Add fishing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the mark of a good game. Add fishing. Yakuza had it. Monster Hunter has it. Some people say they're good games.
You gotta have either a bad fishing mini game or a bad racing mini game.
Okay.
And Arceus does have a bad racing mini game.
Oh, good. The only thing I will say is the snow racing game with the balloons uses every mount, and I think that's really cool. The fact that you use every mount, like you use Braviary, Basculegion, Weirdeer, and so on.
Yeah. Sucked though.
I mean,
but it was cool.
It sucked, but it used it. So points? Question mark.
I mean, yeah, give him the points.
But yeah, Arceus. Conclusion for me, well worth your time.
I mean, how many hours did you put into it?
Oh, I'd have to load up Ryujinx. It's triple digits at least. I think
it's triple digits. You got that far? I didn't. I think I only put about 50 hours in. Hey,
I tell you what, Fem. How about Discord crashes and my frame rate goes down to piss because I will check out how much time on Ryujinx right now.
I mean, it looks good to me.
I'm gonna keep moving like this. Time played 2.31 days.
Okay. So you put about 50 hours, 50, 60
50 hours. Okay, that's a way overestimate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. At least that's about what I put into. I put about 50 hours into the game, which I think
I liked you all.
I think that's reasonable for a game. Yeah. Like even a $60 game, I still don't think it justifies $60, but I think it's a reasonable amount of time considering that I dumped Sword and Shield way before 50 hours. I think the whole like campaign for Sword and Shield took me like 9 to finish or something. And then I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done. I just didn't really care for it.
Bear in mind as well that you haven't completed the Pokedex. On my file, I have. So I
spent a lot of time making videos and shit and not doing Pokedex.
Yeah, exactly. So there's going to be a skewed perspective, but I'd say 50 hours for a game. Like, I do feel like a lot of people kind of expect a game to keep going after it, but sometimes you just have to go, well, I experienced that game and it's done. And that was fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling with Arceus. It was like, I had a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And I paid my money for it and I got the experience I wanted. It's Shadow of the Colossus because as much as I'm on my knees every single day begging for Shadow of the Colossus 2 with all new Colossi, the time I experienced with that fucking game, one of these days, fam, one of these days, Shadow of the Colossus 2, one of these days.
I'm still waiting for a new Okami.
I haven't finished Okami yet.
Really?
I got to, I think, when you fight the supposed boss for the first time, and then I stopped playing from there. So I haven't finished Okami yet, but I it was fun. But like, it's one of those things where you're like, when people ask what's the game you'd like to wipe your memory of and play through for the first time, for me it'd be Shadow of the Colossus every single time, because it is a single player experience, and there's no sequel. There's no sequel.
Would I want to wipe my memory on? I don't know.
Because you have to think about it, right? Because you couldn't say a Monster Hunter game because you wouldn't enjoy it without the knowledge of Monster Hunter games before.
I need the Monster Hunter knowledge.
You wouldn't go into a world without knowing what you know from 4U or 3U or I don't know when you started or whenever. But with Shadow of the Colossus, because it has no other relative, it's got the spiritual successors or the predecessors.
I have an idea. I don't know if it's the right one, but one game did pop into my mind. Dead Space.
I played Dead Space for about an hour. Never finished it. I was playing on a friend's Xbox at the time.
Yeah, I wish I could go back and be scared again.
Yeah. It's one of those, you want that surprise feeling again. Or Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 you'd love to play through again.
I thought Dead Space was better than every Resident Evil game I've ever played.
Even 4?
I didn't care for 4. I know, right? I like 2. I like Resident Evil 2 a ton. And 3 was pretty good too. But
did you play the remakes of 2 and 3?
No, actually I haven't.
The 2 remake. Again, we're coming from different places because I played RE4 as my first Resident Evil.
Oh, see, I played Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 when I was like 9 on the PlayStation.
Yeah, so like vintage consoles and stuff, but the RE2 remake goes hard as fuck. It's
I've heard nothing
scary.
but good things.
Yeah, it's amazing. The RE3 remake I enjoyed, but I know a lot of fans were disappointed in it. But RE2 remake, it's short, and I think they left out a lot of like previous mechanics and stuff like that. But yeah, RE2 is the remake you want to go for, unless the countdown. You see that shit?
We'll see the count. Yeah, I have. When is that supposed to be reaching 0? I did hear about that Capcom countdown. It was like 6 days ago or something. I heard.
Yeah,
about it.
hold on. Capcom countdown.
But also, Dead Space is getting a remaster, which hopefully EA doesn't fuck up. But they fucked up every single game they've made in the past decade, so I don't know.
Oh, 1 day, 2 hours. So
tomorrow night.
It's about
tomorrow at.
Wait, hang on.
11 p.m. Midnight.
Yeah. So actually, for reference, right now it's the 20th of February, 2022, at 3 minutes 19 a.m. in the UK, and the countdown says 1 hour. 1 day, 2 hours.
1 day, 2 hours for Pacific time, which I assume where they're throwing it would be 11 p.m. on a Monday. Which makes no fucking sense.
What's that in Japan time?
Oh, you know what? Tuesday is when games come out. It might be something that they're going to announce for Tuesday morning. Because Tuesday is when games comes out.
Okay. So I guess check in. Upload this before Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah, I'll put it out tomorrow or something. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. Could be Resident Evil. I'm sure it's going to be. But
a lot of people are saying Street Fighter because there's a Street Fighter tournament going on right now. As well,
Capcom Cup is out or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's not going to be Monster Hunter. I will tell you that now. And any motherfucker who watched the Nintendo Direct going, "Oh, it's Monster Hunter," didn't read any of the tweets that said spring. February isn't spring, by the way.
This is what are you talking about? Spring. Monster Hunter comes out in summer.
No. So there was a tweet. As they do from Suzuki.
Oh, that's right. They said new updates in spring or whatever.
New information.
So
people
by
were like,
spring, they mean May.
Yeah, they do. They mean late.
They mean the last day of May or whatever, like with a fucking May 30th. And like Sunbreak will be out in the summer, and by summer they mean August 31st. Because that's how they go.
And then, judging by my track record, I'll be able to play it on September the 31st. Because I'll fail to save. But
oh god, I wonder how that launch is gonna go on PC. Granted, they did put out that tweet that said they're changing around options and adding new shit for PC on Switch or on Verizon, and that's gonna be cool. I'm interested to see where that's going.
Oh, that was a whole discussion. I got my shit destroyed for that, by the way. I posted that in I posted that in a Discord, and I went, "Hey." Okay, so the context is that we got a tweet in Japanese and English of the option screens. One of the options was Wyvern Ride activate buttons or Wyvern Ride buttons. And it said attack or A, which, as we know, is you either attack the monster when it's in a Wyvern Rideable state to initiate the Wyvern Ride, or you sheath your weapon and press A. There's two camps to this. One of them is that it will allow us to do attack and press B. For instance, let's say there's a wire bug or an item you want to gather near the monster to pick up, which honestly does seem the most likely. The other option, which is full of hope, full of wishing, is that you can get rid of the fact that you need to attack. So you can still attack the monster while it's in a Wyvern Rideable state.
The camp where that would fundamentally change the game, and that's not what they're going to be adding.
I was so hopeful. I posted that in a Discord, and I got my asshole chewed out. People were like, "You dumbass, you fucking idiot. How dare you think that? What are they going to do? The monster's going to sit there for 20 seconds? I'm like,
there's the mod that does that, but it makes it so that when you hit the monster, you get like 2 seconds to attack it, and then it comes back like a clagger.
There we go. But I think the former is going to be more possible, where it's like, oh, attack the monster or press B.
I can't wait to roll away or try to roll away only to go with the Wyvern riding.
Or, oh, hey, I've just hit this monster. Maybe I should heal. Oh, no.
It doesn't matter what button they allow you to change that to. I'm gonna hit it because I'm a fucking gunner, and I have to push every fucking button to sheath and walk away, because that's how keybinds work. Oh no, hey, actually, I can't wait. They're gonna set it up so that you have to select a keybind for the Wyvern Ride, but they're not gonna let you select it to be any other key that you have bound already, because it's a conflict. Oh. It's like
you're gonna have to, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be motion controls. You know, if you want to Wyvern Ride, shake your controller. Just pick it up and shake it. You know.
They're gonna do something crazy. I just know.
Yeah.
But
I really hope.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I really hope it's just if you choose to deactivate the Wyvern Ride, it lowers the Wyvern Ride duration or whatever. You know, it just maybe we'll see.
But then how I would be really mad if they did that, to be honest, because it'd be like, look, these modders did this already, and now you're just like, now we're taking that. It's like, but for this entire time the game's been out for more than a year, you didn't think about it, but now that it's on PC and now that mods already did it, you're like, we're gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah, now you say that, it does seem to be because it's the main gimmick. You know, as we've spoken about before, it's the gimmick of
they're not gonna let you do that. Like, they can't.
Yeah, it's just such a shame because I wish it was. You know, it would be so nice if maybe even attacking the monster dispelled it, but how would that work in multiplayer? You know, there's all these different layers, but you know, even hopefully, I got my shit destroyed and I was like, yeah, I guess fair. You know, when you like have to shrink away into your cave, you're like, I haven't been owned by facts and logic. I'm sorry, you know. The internet, man, different battlefield.
Hopefully, Sunbreak comes out good though. I need them to start showing not monster reveals. Show me what new game modes there are, or new like fucking shit that we're gonna do. Because if
it says a lot that the most search terms for a lot of popular video games is gameplay reveal. So if you use peek behind the curtain here, if you're a YouTuber who's looking for good tags, you look up stuff or you use an external program to find out what tags are popular, and a lot of the time it's either reaction trailers, unfortunately, or what's the other one, or gameplay reveal. Those are the key words, is like reaction or gameplay reveal. Because people, yes, of course, a cinematic trailer is nice, but people care about the gameplay. People want to see what the game looks like. They want to see how it would look, even in a cinematic version. You know, if it's no HUD or whatever, they want to see that kind of shit. And we haven't had so much of that with Sunbreak so far. We've just had cinematic
but World
trailers.
was the same way. World did every little trailer they came out with, World, Iceborne, Rise, it was just, hey, here are like the monster reveals and like the character reveals, like the NPCs and shit. I think Rise had like one final gameplay reveal before like the game came out that showed like, hey, we have Rampage quests, and we're all like,
and you know what did that well though? You know what did that well is Generations, because Generations had all of the hunter arts and all the stuff they had.
Game. The whole game's gimmick was here's hunter arts and styles. That was the gameplay, and that was great. Yeah, but like. Yeah, and Rise we have, hey, here's Rampage, and we're like, that looks terrible. Or like, here's Wyvern Riding, we're like, that looks terrible. But like, they don't do so much gameplay reveals, because like the big gameplay mechanics is just like this one little system. But I feel like they need to do that for Sunbreak, because they have to show us what's different. Because if they just have like, hey, this is just Rise but with new monsters, that's not gonna work out, dude. I don't care what you're doing, that's not gonna work out.
What did they do with Iceborne? Because I suppose that's the closest.
Remember with Iceborne, they had all the different weapon reveals, because they had all the new like the weapon skills and crap for the weapons. They added a whole bunch of new stuff with like the clutch claw moves and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course they do. But they also had like the whole system where they would tease the next monster with their roar or a teaser at the end of it. You remember the reveal of Iceborne ended with Nagakuga's roar.
But they also did like gameplay showing like systems and mechanics, and then they showed a monster at the end, and then they showed like the DLC monsters, and then like there was something, and then monster.
You remember that world reveal where they showed Devil Joe at the end? Oh.
Yeah, we're like, oh fuck yeah, first month after we're getting Devil Joe. Everyone was super hyped.
Yeah. Rajang happened with Iceborne, yeah.
And that's what I liked about World was like, World was just so different in its own right. It didn't have like a gameplay gimmick. I guess the gimmick was the little slinger, but that was just a little tool to interact with the world. The gimmick it's the whole new fucking thing.
Well, that's the thing, is because the slinger was a mobility and just a way to throw out ammo. The distraction ammo, whatever, was fine, but then Iceborne came along.
Yeah, and we're like, hey, we're gonna ruin non-optional. This whole thing. Yeah.
It was optional. Actually,
it was a combat tool. Really... It wasn't an environmental tool, it was a combat tool.
Yeah. That would be, and this is the conversation we've all been having for decades at this point, but, it's all the barrier between optional and mandatory, and that's, I think the case study for World is encompassing both of those and going, well, actually, here's why people enjoyed this, and here's why people enjoyed that. Just, what is wrong with giving the choice back to the players, you know?
I love the Slinger. The Slinger is great. Nobody complained about the Slinger at all. Everyone thought it was a great addition. It's the clutch call.
And then...
liked.
Yeah,
and honestly, Rise is the same thing. It's wyvern bugs. Everyone's like, wyvern bugs are great. Getting around the maps feels great. Wyvern riding does not.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. It's the mechanic that takes away the choice from the player that people hate, whereas the movement, the running around, the going through the environments and stuff, amazing. Going through just the shrine ruins, running up cliffs, finding great wire bugs, doing all this. Great, I'm an explorer, whatever. You go into combat and then the monster just sits there for 20 seconds and just stares into the distance. Nah.
Yeah. Nah. It's a little lame.
Nah. But yeah, a lot of people did expect some break news with the Nintendo Direct. And this is the least subtle segue into us talking about the Nintendo Direct. Way,
yeah,
let's go.
There's a lot of good shit to talk about. So,
Jesus.
You want to talk about Mario Strikers? Are you just soccer is the thing for you, or what? Because it was a good game. The GameCube version was pretty good, but
that's footy. That's footy. That's football in Anglosphere. Mario Strikers was like, I remember going to a friend's house on the day the Wii launched, and it was like Red Steel, which was like a motion tracker sword fighting game.
Oh yeah,
Mario Strikers came out maybe later, I think. And then Wii Sports, of course. But Mario Strikers was badass. It was just like, because at the time, a lot of people were just playing COD and FIFA. At that time, it was like 2007 or 8 or whatever. And people were just playing FIFA and COD and whatever. And playing this just like fun football game with super moves and stuff was pretty cool. Mario Strikers is just good, honest fun. It's like basically, if you compare Gran Turismo to Mario Kart, that's what it would be like comparing FIFA to Mario Strikers. It's just like a goofy, fun time.
I feel like it's not going to get the attention that it deserves, because I will admit, it actually looked pretty good. It looked pretty fun. But I think like everyone's going to compare every single football game to Rocket League, which is not a fair comparison at all.
Wow. They'll probably compare it to that fucking, what's the Wii Sports 2 where they got rid of Mii's?
Dude.
Was it Wii Sports? Dude, yeah. Where's Matt? Where's the black dude with the boxing gloves, you know?
Dude, the new Wii Sports or Switch Sports, whatever the fuck they call it, Switch Resort. Yeah. Why? Like, why? Nobody was like, yeah, okay, we want this.
You know why. It's just like, hey, remember Wii Sports?
Obviously, they want to just cash in on the Wii Sports thing, but it's like the only reason why people played Wii Sports is because it was fucking free with the Wii.
It was
just
free.
Like, here,
it was free.
Everybody had it. Literally every person had it. And now, like, hey, you want to charge us $60 for a game that you should have launched with that nobody actually wants? It's no, dude. Like, come on. But Strikers looks cool. So, I mean, I'm not really gonna play it. I'm not really into sports games, but it looked more like rugby than anything. It looked pretty fun.
It's enjoyable. It will be a fun game for people to play. For how long, who knows? But it if it goes by, if it plays the same way as the Wii Mario Strikers, it'll be fun. Definitely.
Yeah, and so the other big announcement for the Nintendo Direct was Xenoblade. So do you play Xenoblade at all?
No, I'm attracted to people above 18, fam. So
my bad.
I don't play Xenoblade. No, cut that. Sorry. Sometimes you got to do that. No, I don't play Xenoblade.
I haven't really played it either. I saw like the everyone was super hyped for that announcement, and the fact that it's come out so soon. It's coming out like, was it September or something? Like,
yeah, I think I feel like a lot of the Nintendo Direct was if you're a fan of this game, you'll appreciate it. You know how a lot of other gamers will feel if they see, say, Monster Hunter at E3, where they're sat there looking for more Halo knowledge or whatever. Mm-hmm. They will go, well, I'm not a fan of this game, but I assume a fan of this game will be enjoyable, like enjoy it. Yeah. That's how I feel about Xenoblade 3. I have a lot of friends who are like, oh yeah, Xenoblade 3, great. And I'm like, I've never played a Xenoblade game.
Is that going to run on the Switch? Because, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a little sketchy.
The question is, will a game run on the Switch? It's a flowchart that's a circle, and the second stop is no. It's a circle.
The roundabout is the frame rate. Got it. It always wraps back to, maybe in these parts, no.
Yeah. It's actually an ECG, like a heartbeat monitor. It's like boop, and then every spike is when the frame rate runs well.
So I'm a little concerned about that. That's the same with like Bayonetta. I don't know if Bayonetta is really going to run that great on Switch, but I mean, they look good. They look good for Switch games, but I'm like, if it looks good, I mean, is it going to play good?
Dude, I made the mistake of opening the live chat on the YouTube stream when it happened, God. And all of it was like, oh, I'm British, and I'm looking at you like, yeah, okay.
Dude, did you see the baseball game whatever for the Switch and how shitty the frame rate was when they were showing that off?
Oh my! So I was streaming that. I was co-streaming that. So I actually was like for one of the few times ever, and I looked at it and I was trying to be, as you do when you stream, you try to be as passive or as neutral as possible. And I looked at it and I went, "This looks like a PS1 game. What the fuck?" Like he boots the ball into the stands, and you're like. What? You have to like inspect it. It's that whatever that was terrible. Yeah. Advance Wars though looks fucking amazing. I love Advance Wars.
I liked Advance Wars. I thought they were gonna do more for the remake because I think it looks just like resolution up, and like that was it. I guess they have voice acting,
new visuals, and voice acting.
Still can't get voice acting in a Pokemon game, but they can do it for fucking Advance Wars. But yeah, so like Advance Wars.
Well, that makes sense because Advance Wars is better, right?
I don't know. Well, yeah.
No, I love Advance Wars as like a pocket of like just a little something that I experienced ages ago. I didn't realize how many people loved Advance Wars. Because it looks really fun.
It's good, and the direction Fire Emblem's going, I would much rather have a new Advance Wars than a new Fire Emblem. So, Fire Emblems have been nothing but dating sims for like 4 games now. So
I mean, the kind of audience that comes with that, right?
But like, if you always used to be like that, like Fire Emblem, like Radiant and Dawn, and like the Fire Emblem 2 Sacred Stones and stuff was so fucking good. And then it just got all into dating sims. And I was like, oh man.
Yeah, but then they realized like, oh, we could just give an anime girl like an RGB hairstyle and large tits, and then we sell
the audience. Yeah, that's.
And forgive me for being cynical. I'm sure the millions of people online will tell me that Xenoblade is a transcendent piece of art, but it just seems like, hey, let's slap a sword and a piece of tits on this bitch, and there's your game. Hey.
Yeah, I've seen some of the. I'll send you a GIF of some of the sword acquisitions from that. It's a game, all right.
It's a game. Right?
I mean, I'm sure
that's going to be the moniker, right? Where it's like an anime game. Oh, it sure is a game.
It's got huge games. So one of the
massive plot developments.
Yeah, big plot. I played for the plot. One of the other things that was super exciting for the announcements was Front Mission. Not just 1, but Front Mission 2 is getting remaked as well. And
so you got to explain that to me because what the fuck is Front Mission?
It's literally, so think like Advance Wars. It's a tactical, fucking mech shooty game that it's literally just that. It's tactics but with mechs, and then you get to build all your mechs individual pieces. Like think a la Mech Warrior or something. You get to like assemble all your different weapons and shit, put your mechs out there, and then fucking go do mech shit on tactics. And then the soundtrack was amazing for those games too. Like they're hard as shit too. Like they're not easy games. Like
was that Square? Who did it?
I don't remember. It was so fucking long ago. I don't even know if they came to the West.
I got so distracted by the amount of like Octopath Traveler mimics that showed up in this fucking direct.
Front Mission was Square back in the day. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw it, and I think my reaction was, I don't know this series, but I'm sure people who know it are freaking out. It's like the Fox Guy game that people were freaking out about. I can't remember what it was, but
Alive
it was
Alive or whatever.
Maybe there was another one, but yeah, a lot of people freaking out about Live Alive. This direct was very much like a case of, if you are a fan of this series, you will lose your shit.
Yeah, because they're porting a lot of shit over.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of this, you won't care. I think as well they teased a lot of Zelda stuff for the NES kind of thing. And the only time I will care is if they ever do anything with Minish Cap or Phantom Hourglass for the Switch. I'm there for that. Fem, you're muted.
Sorry, I said they're never gonna go back to Minish Cap.
No, they will one day. Copium, please.
I like how they like all this. They keep announcing all these new stuff and like all these remakes, and it's cool. And it's like they still haven't said anything about Prime. Like they announced the Prime 4 like 7 years ago, and they're like,
dude. So I feel like Dread was like, it's a good game, but it's like as a stopgap. But
they totally made Dread just to appease people. But like, we haven't had a Metroid game in fucking forever. And like, here's this. You can just have fun with this, and it's a good game. I love Dread. Dread's a great.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dread. If you're into Metroid, Dread is good.
It's an awesome Metroid game. I went back and recently and replayed Fusion because I had Fusion as like my favorite Metroid, and it holds up. It definitely holds up. It's 20 years old now, which is ridiculous to me. I feel old as shit, but Fusion's a good game. But I was complaining about Dread because I finished it in like 6.5 hours on my first playthrough. Yeah. And I went back and played Fusion, not remembering literally anything from the game, and I cleared it in like 4 hours. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is just Metroid games in general.
Yeah.
But Dread's good. I really love Dread. The boss fights in Dread are awesome. But
yeah, and also the fact they actually include like a gameplay like skill mechanic in terms of the parry is
I love
really
parry
cool.
games. Yeah.
Have you tried out the new mode they announced for Dread, by the way?
Oh fuck! No, I'm so bad at Metroidvania games. I played Prime. I got through it. I didn't struggle that much, but I'm not gonna play one hit death mode. Fuck that shit. Like I'm not that good.
So speaking of Metroid, actually, so I linked this to you earlier, but
I saw that
retros. Yes, so it's massive speculation, and unfortunately, I had to link an IGN article to Fam here. But Retro, which is a studio, has changed their Twitter banner to a silhouette of Samus surrounded by dark blues and blacks.
Well, what I noticed.
Samus.
Oh yeah, okay, is that what it was? I was gonna say I didn't read the article. I just saw the picture. And I noticed it looked like it was someone looking at Samus through another visor. I didn't necessarily assume dark visor.
No, actually, no, I see that. Actually. Yeah, to me, it looks like a hallway. Throw the image up here. More editing work for you. But, yeah, so they have changed their... Because you can tell it's Samus by the shoulder pads and the gun,
big fucking shoulders. Like, those ain't no man's shoulders.
Oh, yeah, no, imagine. Dude, imagine if Metroid was a woman. Who would know? But yeah, so Retro are a studio, and they have been involved, or at least talking about Prime 4, which has been, I think, a development. So we were talking about doing this podcast, and then like 3 or 4 days afterwards, I had to add this to the talking point spreadsheet, like, hey, this just happened. So relatively recent development, 18th of Feb. So yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah, so who knows? Eventually we'll get some news about Prime 4. I know that they had to, like Legends of the Guild, they had to sort of dumpster an old studio because it just wasn't working out.
Yeah, they've done it a couple of times now.
Yeah,
which has been the ongoing issue.
Yeah, I think it's positive and also not, because like people want Prime 4, of course, but if you're gonna be a bit what's the word, like allowing for their misgivings, you would say they want it to be the best that it can be.
Here's the problem we have with that. We've had this problem many times before. It's going to get to the point where they can't delay it anymore, and we're getting another repeat of like fucking Cyberpunk, where they just have to put the game out after years and years and years of delays, and people are like, well, it's shit, and like, well, we had to put it out anyways.
So what do you think about, have you played Cyberpunk's new like thing? Because all I see nowadays is like, oh, graphical glitches are gone. Like it's literally like this NPC has like an umbrella or shoes.
I
or
never had a problem with that
don't
shit.
mug me for my money or whatever.
I didn't have a problem with the graphics or anything like that. My only real complaint with, well, there's a lot of complaints actually I have with Cyberpunk, but my main one was that it felt terrible to play because the AI is shit. It like everyone felt terrible to fight. You had like 2 generic enemies, 1 melee, 1 ranged, and nobody ever charged you. Everyone lost sight of you immediately. Like nobody actually did any sort of investigation work. Stealth was a joke. It was just like, it felt so goddamn boring, and I don't think they fixed that still.
No, that's mostly what I've been seeing. Is like it's still Cyberpunk, but they've stopped you from clipping through the floor when you go out into the street. That's what it is. It's like bare minimum kind of stuff. And
yeah, so I haven't really played it.
No, me neither. So take our opinions with a grain of salt, but it is also very much like that kind of stuff where games are launching like this nowadays, and is that acceptable?
Battlefield, I was so hyped for Battlefield, and then that just came out.
What, 2042? 2042?
Yeah. I was like, oh good, we're finally getting a good modern Battlefield. It'll play just like Battlefield 4. And I'm like, they just keep fucking shit up. And that's why I don't trust like any of these big game studios anymore. It's like I'm really into just the more AA studios and indie games at this point, because like fucking I don't know, they're just, nobody's putting out good games.
Dude, that's why as well we start this by saying we didn't expect Arceus to be good, because unfortunately Game Freak can just go, most games aren't, yeah. And it's also kind of the point that you get at with Sunbreak and Monster Hunter as well, going back to that. Like the save issues I had, I expressed in a video I made where I said this shouldn't be the norm. There is no reason why this should be normal. Why are we paying for a product that arrived? Like, if you ordered a painting, or if you ordered, a motherboard, or a fucking chopping board for chopping vegetables on eBay, and it arrived, and they broke it up and put it in your letterbox, like, why should you accept that? Or if it arrived like, if you ordered a photo frame and it arrived like in glass shards and said, "Hey, put it together yourself," like
that was
Lego
my
piece.
analogy. Was it was like for me playing Rise on PC was like I bought a furniture from IKEA, but I had no tools and no instructions. It's like, I guess I'll figure it out. I mean,
and for mods, you had to pay someone else to bring you your screwdriver and so on.
Yeah.
But that's a shockingly and worryingly new trend for modern video games. Yeah, it's slowly becoming the norm, where I have the amount of times that I've said to my friends, like, I'm not going to buy a console day one, and it's been accepted. Previously, if you bought a console day one, like let's say you bought a PlayStation 2 day one and it didn't fucking work, unthinkable. Like, you bought a product, you should be able to play it or use it. But nowadays it's like, oh, wait for the day one patch, wait for this, wait for that. Yeah. You break the save.
Every fucking game comes out with a demo and they're like, it's shit. It's like, don't worry, it'll be fine on launch. And then like it's launched, like it's shit. Like, oh no, day one patch isn't out yet. And like it's still shit. They'll hammer it out in a few weeks. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, with Rise, I did have a unique experience. Like, I think.
But it wasn't just you. A lot of people had that issue.
A lot of people did, but it was also a small majority. I think for me, it stung a bit more because I had an early code and so on. But it's whatever. But the fact that happens should not be a thing. You feel like it should be tested. But fucking Nintendo Direct, the Kirby game though.
Oh, dude,
have you seen
the fucking Kirby game? I'm so hyped. I love Kirby. Kirby's like my fucking favorite genre. It's like I grew up playing Kirby. Kirby and the Crystal Shards is my favorite Kirby game of all time. It's so goddamn good.
So you gotta explain it to me then, fam. So a standard, because you know how you have like a standard Zelda game. You go into dungeons, you get the item after beating the boss that lets you get to the next dungeon, right? That's the formula for Zelda. What's the formula for Kirby? Do you just vor the boss, or
sometimes? Typically Kirby games, they've pretty much exclusively been 2D on, even on the 3DS stuff. They're just straight platformer kind of things. which is why it's taken this step to like big open world 3D, which every Nintendo game does. Zelda did it, Mario did it, Metroid did it. They all do it eventually. I'm glad Kirby's finally doing it. So good on them.
I love how you're cheering him on. You're like, well done, Kirby. You're my friend.
Kirby's great. Kirby, like even Kirby games, like they're pretty short in playing, but they're just good. They're just good fun. And it's literally just like you go through like a world. It's got like 4 different levels, like fucking Mario. You just eat enemies, gain all their powers, kill bosses, and then you go to the next world, rinse and repeat all the way down, and then you're done. And that's
it. It's just a nice and simple like platformer. Get this power from this world, and
but Kirby and the Crystal Shards is where I fucking blew my mind, because it was actually the game that required backtracking and collecting shards to get like the final levels and stuff. And you had to like actually piece together this fucking stone. But you could also combine powers. So like you'd have to go back to another level, get like the cutter power from this guy, and then go to the next area, like take it out of you and like you turn it into like a shard, threw it at another guy, combine the shards, and then you get like cutter and fire. So then you have like a fire sword and you're swinging like fire blades around. Or you have like cutter where you could like throw like a boomerang, and then you grab another cutter and then you like double cutter it up. So you throw like a huge boomerang that comes back and hits stuff. And then like you could just combine all these fucking different powers. And it's like, that's my favorite Kirby game. All of Kirby is absorbing other enemies' powers, like Mega Man, but short term, and then using it on them.
Oh, so it's kind of like, I think Mario Odyssey kind of did that with Cappy as well, didn't it?
It's just like that. Yes, it's like Mario Odyssey. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Like I like the sound of that as well. It sounds like a puzzle game as well.
Yeah,
because
like,
you have to solve the puzzle of like the combination.
It's exactly like a Mario game. It's literally Mario game, but you get to eat people. So
there we go. That's Hungry Mario.
Basically, think Odyssey. It's gonna play just like Odyssey, except you're Kirby and you get to eat everything. And it's like great.
Yeah.
And the trailer, the new trailer they showed out is fucking wild, dude. Like,
dude, Kirby fishing, Kirby fishing. Fishing. It's so good. Yeah, Kirby is great. I've never played a Kirby game, but looking at it, it's just fun.
It's
like
just fun.
It's an innocent game that doesn't try to be dramatic or whatever. It's just like, hey, here's Kirbo, Puyo.
Yeah.
Look at this little pink guy.
Look at this guy.
Hey, it just literally, it's like the creator of Kirby holding it in his hand, just flicking him and going, hey, have fun. And that's it. And we love it for it. Yeah.
Kirby games are fun. I played like every single Kirby game, even like Planet Running Robobot was the last one. What?
Kirby.
The
car.
Oh, Kirby.
Yeah.
Well, like Kirby's one thing. Like, did you see that they already modded that into like Mario Kart? Like the Kirby car? Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
I think the worst one I saw was like Mario 64. It was like a fan comic of Mario going into Peach's castle in 64, and it's all pink, and then it's just Luigi coming out staggering like this. And he goes, he's got Kirby's head over his, and it just says, "Forgive me, Mario. I was so hungry." It's like a horror comic. And
there's a lot of those of like just Kirby like eating other things. There's like the Spider-Man 3 poster that had like Venom coming up. It was just Kirby arm and shit. Yeah, but like there's all sorts of weird shit that now that just has Kirby eating them. It looks so fucking funny.
Yeah, that was like instantly the moment that Kirby ate that car. People were like, "Oh fuck, here we go."
Dude, I like. Everything about that game looks so good, though. I cannot wait. It comes out in like March, too.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, though. It's a genuinely like from the game, because they actually show gameplay as well. Like it's a beautiful game. It looks great. You know.
I mean, it looks like Odyssey, and Odyssey looked great too. So.
Yeah. Well, that was what I was going to get to, because fucking where is the next Mario game? We had Odyssey at like Switch launch, and we're halfway through the life cycle at this point. Where the fuck is the next Mario game?
Strikers.
Where's a Mario platforming game? It's going to be a good game, I swear.
I mean,
Copium.
It could be, I guess. I don't know. They need a decent.
But it feels like they're focusing on like spin-offs more than they are focusing on.
But they don't make very many Mario games. Like they usually make like 1 or 2 actual Mario games per console, and then it's all like reboots and re-releases and stuff like that.
Yeah, but when is it? It's been so long since the Switch launched. You know.
What, 5 years?
Like, yeah. Well, 3 years if we discount the last 2 years, let's be honest. But
hold on, when did the Switch actually launch? I'm gonna look that up. Because I know the Switch had literally no games when it came out. That's why nobody had it.
No, it was Breath of the Wild, and that was about it. And I think Nintendo were hoping that Breath of the Wild was like
March 3rd, 2017. We are almost on 5 years.
I hate the passage of time.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
If you can Photoshop like the Curious Case of Benjamin Button or whatever it is, where I just age rapidly and decay into dust, that's how I feel right now. Jesus.
Yeah, that's how I was when I found out that Fusion was 20 years old. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't want to look up that. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to look up the launch date of Shadow of the Colossus.
2007, I think.
$2005.
It was 5? Oh my god.
I was 10 years old.
Ugh. Gross. Wait, how fucking old are you? Wait, 2005? You were 10?
Yeah, I'm gonna be 27 in July.
Oh god, I feel old as shit. I'm 30, dude.
Dude, don't worry. That's why Jin isn't here, because he would disintegrate into dust. He's older than you, right?
Yeah, Jin's like 35 or something. Yeah. 36.
Still fucking crushing it, by the way. I will say, I do feel kind of out of place because it's you and Jin, of course, but usually on this podcast. But when Elden Ring drops, if this podcast comes out before Elden Ring comes out, go fucking watch Jin, because I guarantee he's going to be giving you laughs and just crushing fools, or getting crushed himself and making it funny.
I am going to do everything in my power to stop Jin's progress.
So excited. I'm so excited to watch Jin play Elden Ring. Like, I will stop playing Elden Ring myself and then watch Jin, because I'm so excited to see how fucking like old school attitude era WWE he's going to be. I just want to see him trash talk fools, and
I just want to dick with him the entire time, though.
Well, you said, didn't you, like one of the last episodes, you just want to dink him with arrows from like 300 meters away.
That's all I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to harass him. I'm going to stop all progression as much as I can. I'm going to force him to run into boss zones or whatever.
Well, you know what it is your win condition is if you use the crystal to banish you, right? Or if he like runs away, you win at that point.
Oh yeah, I'll just come back. That's going to be good times. So you're going to play Elden Ring, right?
Yeah, I will do. The worrying thing actually is they posted the PC specifications, and the worst part about it is I have the graphics cards and all the other pieces to set it up, but the RAM is the problem. I only have 8 gig.
Really? And 8 gigs of RAM?
Yeah, it's a pre-build.
So why don't you just grab some RAM?
Well, I will download more RAM. I've got this pop-up actually right here that says download more RAM, so I'll do that. But no, I've got a computer store near me, and I've got time off of work, but time off of work is after the end of February. So I have a shop near me, a computer shop that I'm on good terms with, and they say, oh yeah, we can upgrade your RAM for minimum £20, which is what, like $30?
Yeah, that's about right. If you just want to get like one stick, an 8 gig stick of RAM, just make sure it's the same speed as the one you're running. And
oh yeah, they figure all that shit out for me. So
you can do it yourself. It's literally turn off your computer, click in a stick, and you're done. That's it.
Fem, I ain't touching it. Last time I opened my computer, I shorted out the CPU, fam. Last time I opened up the computer, that happened, and I had to get a whole bitch in for it, and it was awful. I ain't doing that shit. I'm too much of a caveman. So what's going to happen is I will upgrade, but I will still buy Elden Ring and hope it works while streaming. It won't, but I'll try. If all else fails, I'll play Sekiro, which is a very good game. But
I feel like Elden Ring's PC specs are only really high because they want you to have more RAM for the draw distance for loading up like the big open worldy map. I feel like if you turn down your draw distance, which I'm sure they're going to have options for, you'll be all right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. One of the worst optimized games we've ever played, which is Monster Hunter World, is just run everything on low, and it works still, even while streaming. So
I love playing it on like a fucking claymation mode.
I fucking saw that video. What was it, Guiding Lands Zenoga, where everything is a hitbox? Like, literally.
It was great. I could see all the hitboxes. It's just big, like big squares.
You roll it back to like a blender. animation, you know.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, no, I will be playing Elden Ring. Builds is very exciting because they released the Elden Ring build, like the Elden Ring starting classes, because we have our deprived or our wretch or whatever it's called, like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, no specialized. But there's also a bunch of interesting ones, and I'm thinking that. So with DS1, I went quality. I went vigor, endurance, strength, and just Zwei-handed and mid-rolled and stuff like that. With DS2, I went pure strength because fuck that game, and I just want to monkey move through everything.
Dude, double ultra greatsword power stance, let's go.
Yeah, for a first playthrough, I wish. And then DS3, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do Dex because it annoyed chat. Because chat was saying like, oh yeah, Dex is a homosexual build. And I went, okay, I'll be a homosexual then. You know, like...
I played Dex.
Well, I did. And I got the cell swords. And it wasn't until I got to like after Demon Princes, after doing all the other bosses, that somebody in chat went, you know, you're playing like the speedrunner build. And I went, no. I just got the dual swords and I went for it. Like, but I think there are two avenues I want to go in Elden Ring, just based on what we've seen. One is I want to get a great shield and a big ass fucking hammer, and I just want to be a heavy motherfucker, you know?
Okay,
just
yeah.
Big ass great shield, slow, no dodging, just guard and just be a beefy
shield
ass
bash, dude. Just fucking get the fuck out of
yeah,
here.
I want to use a great shield because I've never used a great shield. I've only ever used parry shields. I want to, you know, meet it through it. Or how fucking cool are the sorceries? Let's be honest. How amazing do those sorceries look?
It sucks because they cheese the game so hard, but they're so fucking cool looking to use. I love Dark Souls 3 sorceries too.
Really? Because I was gonna say I thought DS3 sorceries were dog shit.
No, no way, dude. And like Dark Souls 2 had good ones too, but like Dark Souls 3, like the quick Farron sword, spell sword, and then this sorcery, the magic ultra great sword spell. I forget what the fuck the spells are called.
Oh, the like swipes.
Yeah, I fucking love that shit. And then they had the dagger from one of the DLCs that was the magic dagger that would flick up and turn into like a magic saber. Was super cool. Like, I love magic in those games.
I don't know. I just don't think anything can compare to like DS1, Dark Bead, and you know, Logan's
Dark Shotgun. Yeah. Just walk up, just bam, you're dead.
Yeah, and that's my baseline for sorcery. So maybe I'm spoiled, but yeah, like I said, I was playing through DS3 today, and I made a Luck Hollow build. Oh yeah. So I went trawling through different options because when I first played DS3, I did the sellsword build with sharp, infused gem, and dex and so on. But I did a luck build this time around, and you have to kill Anri, like the woman you marry or something in one of the storylines. That sucks, by the way, because you kill them by a bonfire, and she has like a mercenary as her backup. So you just have to respawn and fight, and it's terrible. But yeah, her sword has like A or S scaling with luck, and then if you do the hollow, like leveling up in DS3, and then infuse a shield with hollowing, you get like. You can level up your luck to 30, but then your luck is effectively 40 with these extra hollow points. And you can start doing some fucking crazy damage. It's so good. So yeah, it's going to be interesting as well, because I think this will be one of the first times I've played through a Souls game without it being out already.
Right. That's the thing, is you have to get in with everyone else without all the information out there, without all the meta established, without all the people going out there just to be gang squads.
Yeah, so a lot of people will go safe for like strength and dex and stuff and mobility and so on, and they'll just go like, oh, well, this works in previous Souls game, we'll do that. But I think it's also a curse is if you're somebody who hasn't played Souls before and you stream or make content, you will have a horrible time streaming it. You remember, Fatalis? Her and I was talking in her stream the other day, and talking about like Souls games, streaming it for the first time on Twitch. I have recently started playing Sekiro for the first time. Christ alive, there are some animals on Twitch who are like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do that, do this.
It's very uniquely a Souls game thing where people will tell
it's a FromSoft
thing. The game. Like, whoa, dude, just calm down.
And you have in your stream tags, you were like, hey, no backseating. And they will go, that sign won't stop me because I can't read.
I do that to Faye all the time. I just gonna be like, Faye, do this instead.
Yeah. I don't understand what happens. I get it because I was watching a favorite streamer of mine play through the Minish Cap, and I was like, there's this here, there's this here, you can do this, you can do this. And I'm like, he doesn't fucking know. He doesn't know. I'm going to seethe in my own private domain, and this is annoying. I get where it comes from, but also shut the fuck up. If ever you're somebody who has a Twitch or YouTube following and are streaming a Souls game for the first time, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Really. Because I did Lady Butterfly the other day, and somebody popped in and it had the whole Twitch thing of like, hey, first time chatter says, do this, dodge to the right, do this, dodge to the right, do this, and then back up. And then I went, the first thing I said is like, hey, first time chatter, you want to shut the fuck up? And then I tried it as well. I was like, well, what if they said it's right? And it was not. I died immediately. Immediately.
But here's the thing. That's fine, because if it did work, then you would have been like, well, I mean, I would have figured that out, and now he just basically, you kind of win the boss there because you accidentally read what someone was saying. So it's better that it didn't work.
Yeah, even so, like, I knew enough. So what you do with, I don't know if you do the same thing when you're figuring out speedruns, because I don't really see you, when I watch you stream, you're not really the person to stream when you're figuring out a monster. At least I haven't seen that. You're the person to go in and be like, I know this, I know this, I know this.
No, I don't have plans ever. I literally never have a plan. Like,
with stream? Oh, schedules are for pussies.
No, I mean, I have schedules, but like, especially when I speedrun Monster Hunter or stream Monster Hunter, I do speedruns, but I drop into a fight wanting to learn it, and then I just be like, oh, no, could have done that better, and I just kind of go. I don't have plans. I just shoot, and then like, oh no.
Maybe that's the weapon thing then, because I knew one thing I wanted to do jumping in my Dread Queen fight is AED at the start, because I knew I had to balance the Apex topple with the KO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I knew, and then we went from there, and that's my favorite part about learning speedruns.
That's the difference. For a gunner, especially on a PC, the trick is don't stop firing, ever.
Yeah,
if you stop,
buy a turbo controller.
Yeah, it's literally just don't stop. If you have to figure out how to kill the monster without stopping your shooting. That's it.
Yeah, and that depends on the weapons. But for what I've been using on Rise PC, which is Charge Blade, you have to sort of figure out, like, okay, here's my stagger point. Here's where I want to KO. Here's where I want to do this. Here's where that, Mm-hmm. And that's one of my fucking favorite parts about speedrunning Monster Hunter is figuring it out. Figuring out, okay, I need to do X attack, and this action needs to happen. I always cite Iceborne Master Rank 3 Rathalos for that. Is you have to shotgun to get his attention, do a non-aware jumping attack to get the mount, and so there's so many different things, and it's such a specific line of knowledge. Mm-hmm. You ever have this? You ever have something with like a video that you want to make, or like a topic you want to talk about, where it's like such a specific line of knowledge, you think, this is the most fucking interesting thing to me. The way this all works.
Cares.
Nobody cares. That's why I do those fucking speedrun breakdown videos. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but I look at them I'm like, you say that. You should do them. Do them. I guarantee people will be interested.
I need to go back to play Rise. I gave up on Path of Exile, so...
Oh, yeah. The only experience I've ever had a PoE is seeing somebody using a Flicker Strike build. And
that's the worst fucking thing. It's a triceps or something. Plays Flicker. Yeah, he's just all over the map. Like, Oh god, that's funny. No, like, so Poli came out like 2 weeks ago, and I've been like binging it pretty hard, and I finally gave up because I had one build that I started with that I got to end game. I did like all the bosses, and I had a good time, and then I wanted to try something new, and then it failed horribly, and then I wanted to try something different, and then it failed horribly, and I wasted all my money buying gear. Sorry, I got hiccups. And so basically, I'm back to square one with no money. With 2 characters that don't function, and I'm like, all right, well, Elden Ring comes out next week, so
Copium. It's got the gas mask around your face. Yeah, that's the MMO trap. I feel like I that's the worrying thing. Like with Dark Souls and single player games, you can just either re-roll or just start again, and it's not that difficult. But with MMOs, you have to invest.
Yeah,
you have to go into the ecosphere and engage with everybody else and do multi stuff.
I hate that too. I hate trading so goddamn much, but that's the thing. So Poe has like solo self-found leagues where like it's just you, and then like it's your own like little thing, and that's fine. Except the game is mechanically designed around trading and the whole MMO aspect. So trying to get stuff to make specific builds, you can't fucking do that. It's like here's like 0.01% drop rate off of God knows what boss. It's like, okay, well, I mean, you can't build around that.
No.
But I like solo self-found. I just can't make builds with it, and I hate trading with people because I fucking hate people. And Poe is like invested with bots and spammers and price fixers and all sorts of shit that all of it is just so dehumanized.
Yeah, it's what it's like. It's like if you're a Twitch streamer and you post on Twitter like, "Hey, I'd like to I'm thinking about making this emote," and then bots immediately tag onto emote.
It's exactly like that.
And you get my favorite thing is I had one DM. I made a tweet where I said, "Oh, I should make an ending screen for my YouTube videos." You know how people have like an ending screen where it's just like instead of having it over the last bit of commentary, it's like something else and with a bit of background music. I thought like, oh yeah, I could make that. And then I got a DM from a bot that was like, "Hey, answer me, bitch. Answer me. Answer me. You should be interested." And it was like the most passive aggressive bot ever. It was just like, "Oh yeah, here's what I can offer. You in? If you're not in, just say. Next message. Just say. Why aren't you responding? Just say." And I'm like, Jesus. Be gone. leave me the fuck alone. Like, what is this? What is the internet right now?
Yeah, typing the word emote on Twitter is a dangerous thing. So for Elden Ring, a shocker to nobody, I'm gonna play Bandit class starting out, because it's the only class that starts with a bow, and I'm gonna try and do full bow playthrough all the way through, because I know you have to craft your arrows now. You have to like kill birds and make like arrows by hand, and I don't know how readily available they're gonna be, but I'm gonna try to.
You're gonna have bow only. I think from what I've seen, you're gonna have a very good time with like ads in like small settlements, but bosses you're gonna be dead. Like you'd have to get like a composite bow or something.
Yeah, I mean probably. I plan on carrying a dagger just when I don't want to use ammo, like a parry knife or whatever. But I'm not gonna use any parry buckler. I'm not gonna use any shields. Nothing. It's just gonna be like my offhand. It's gonna be like dagger bow, and then I two-hand the bow to shoot it and stuff. But like in case I don't have arrows or whatever, I'm gonna have a little dagger.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. So I'm gonna try and do all the way through with bow.
From what I've seen from Elden Ring, it really does seem like it's way more lenient to all playstyles. But I think I would very much like to just have a great shield and just fucking beast it through.
Elden Ring's gonna be too easy because of that, and because it's open world, you can kind of disengage from combat so much easier and kind of pick your fights and do things on your own term. I think that's going to make the game a little easy. Yes, there's dungeons and force encounters, but
the bosses though, because I've seen the golden, like the guy with all the arms over his back.
Yeah,
that guy. I've seen gameplay of that where people are trying to like dodge spam and even time their dodges through it, and he still looks hard as fuck. So I think there will still be the FromSoftware difficulty that people look for in these types of games, but I do think that the outside of it, like the general
stuff.
Yeah, the general enemies will be.
He's a part of a big dungeon thing.
Yeah, and maybe that could be a good separation though. is that the outside world is like exploration where you can kill an ad in 1 or 3 hits, but you still have to be wary, perhaps. But then when you go into a dungeon, that shit's amped up and you have to be careful. Yeah. Maybe that could be a good way. Maybe that could be a way of appeasing all people. With that.
I just hope it's not going to be. I don't know. I don't think Dark Souls 3 was all that difficult. I think the DLCs were, but the base game was not. And I'm wondering if base Elden Ring is going to be a little like that, where it's just kind of like, you just kind of plow through it.
I think it depends, though, because we're talking from, players who have played all Dark Souls games. You've also played Bloodborne, right?
Yeah, I'd say, but even so, I still think Bloodborne is hard as shit at times, too. Like, some of the...
I can't comment. I wish I could. I just can't be asked to get my PS4 out of storage. I would love to play Bloodborne. Never. I played DS1 through 3, and I'm playing through Sekiro right now.
Oh, man. And it'll never come to PC, too. I know everyone keeps saying that, but...
I'm hoping, dude. Don't break my illusion. I'm hoping, man.
It's never going to come to PC.
I'm hoping. But yeah, Sekiro. I'll talk about that in a moment. But Elden Ring. Yeah, so I think it wouldn't be a bad thing if like the enemies, the casual enemies, the environments you go to, you find a settlement, you find a campfire, and you find, how where there's those 2 giants going. I think in some gameplay things there was one giant who had like fallen from a great height and had his health bar reduced, and you fought him as a boss and stuff like that. I think the exploration aspect is fine because like, if you are going around the area, you don't want to encounter like a story boss where you get the health bar at the bottom and do all this shit. It's fine, and it should be relatively easy. You shouldn't be forced into it. I think it gives more weight to like the fog gates, where if you see one, you go, "Oh, okay,
there's still turning back kind of thing."
Yeah, I better prepare. I better do this. I better do that. I better square up. I better get ready. And that changes it in the mindset of the player. Maybe that's the distinction between, awful and hard that people need, But I think people are going to fucking love Elden Ring. I think
at least the fucking fans could be playing it.
Yeah, everybody is. And I really hope they sort out their server issues before then, because I still haven't been able to log on DS3 servers at this point. So I hope the game doesn't get delayed.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. But if it's cross console at all? Like, is PC and PlayStation going to be talking?
I think they've just closed everything down for the sake of safety. Because if there's a backdoor in one, there'll be a backdoor in every bit of code, right? So it originated the for people who don't know, the thing we're talking about is there was a backdoor code or a backdoor exploit for Dark Souls 3 PvP, where people could just access your computer, basically.
Yeah, they were uploading. Yeah, it was. They were using their whatever the fuck they do. I don't know how to do computer gibberish, but they were using your peer-to-peer connection as a connection to your computer and sending malicious files to destroy your computer.
Yeah, so basically you'd load into PvP with DS3 and your computer would blue screen and you'd be dying screaming. And then they found out that was kind of, I guess, we don't know if that's confirmed, or at least I don't know if that's confirmed, but they found out that was present in a lot of files in other Dark Souls games. So Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. I don't know about Bloodborne, but I know that the Dark Souls,
because it was console only.
Yeah, I know that the Dark Souls game, though, every time you load in, it has its online capabilities just shut down. Sekiro doesn't really matter too much because it's a single player game, so at least from my experience.
Yeah, it's only single player. But yeah, it is a
fun as fuck.
Interesting thing to happen so close to Elden Ring launch.
Yeah. So I guess the problem would be is if Elden Ring launches without that exploit being resolved.
Could be.
So massive issue. So if DS3 basically doesn't come online before Elden Ring launches, be careful. Be very careful.
Yeah, that's gonna be scary shit.
Oh, I guess we found the way to beat Jin in PvP, but
yeah, I'll get those files.
In game. Don't ban me Twitch. In game.
It's gonna be fun. That's next week. Next week.
Yeah, it's 25th, so it's the 20th day. So yeah, next Friday, payday.
It's gonna be a crazy week.
Dude, it's gonna be nothing but Elden Ring. People are gonna be getting their.
That's the crazy. It's like every gamer out there is like, oh yeah, Elden Ring. We know it's a fucking Souls game. But even like all the casual gamers, because the FromSoft name and the Dark Souls name is just so spouted now, it's like this is their chance to get in before everyone else too. So it's like, everybody is gonna be playing fucking Elden Ring. Everybody.
There's so many, or so little, I should say, gamer moments, but there's so little like occurrences like this in terms of the larger gamer sphere, because you can talk about like, we talk about Monster Hunter, right? And yes, we can freak out about, oh, Scrunglo Bumbless of Freedom Unite has been announced, and we can get excited about that. Let's say Rise X Astalos comes back, we get excited about that, but people in the large gaming community don't know what the fuck Rise X is,
and
right?
don't care.
And don't care, care. Whereas if people just say FromSoftware game new release, Caveman,
literally everyone, just
literally everyone, and you don't really have too many of these moments with games like that. There's no like defining. X game has released. Let's fucking everybody go. What would be another comparison? Right? Shadow of the Colossus 2. But
I'm just trying to think, like, there's not very many genres that just expand to such a broad audience. Honestly,
I think Arceus.
I was gonna say Pokemon. It probably would be the one, like, because everybody, regardless of who you are, if you're a gamer, you play Pokemon, man. Everyone dabbles in Pokemon, like, So there'd be that. But I don't think Arceus had the hype that Elden Ring does. Is the thing.
I think Arceus had more of the hype after it came out.
Yeah, because after people realized, oh, it's a good game. So yeah, I think it was more.
But the thing is like, you had stuff like that with No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk, and we both know how that turned out. And the worrying thing is that Elden Ring could be like that, but you also have to think, like, I don't know personally, but what was DS3 like at launch? What was Bloodborne or Sekiro like at launch?
Pretty much fine. Like, I don't think any games had too many issues. I mean, I think Dark Souls 2 had the most issues, but
really? Dark Souls 2 sucked at something? Wow, shocking.
Yeah, but I mean, they fixed their stuff reasonably fast. But Dark Souls 2, I don't think. I don't think Dark Souls 2 ever got fixed, but
I'm sorry, I just did not like that game.
That's fair.
Another podcast that Cera is on where he talks about his hate of Dark Souls 2.
Dark Souls 2 was cool when it was the current Dark Souls game and everyone was PvPing in it.
It was PvP, dude. People loved it for the PvP.
That's all it was.
PvE, though. That's all it was, yeah. And PvE.
Yeah, it was shit. Everyone knows it was shit PvE, but that's, I don't know. It was the PvP Souls game.
Yeah, maybe that's the best way to look at it. But Elden Ring, we don't know. But I am very excited for it. Now that I'm actually caught up on it, and I'm like, oh, I know what a Souls game's like, Yeah. Because this is a new experience for me. It's like going from like DS1 through all of the iterations and going like, okay, cool. And now that I'm experiencing Sekiro, you can kind of see where some aspects of Sekiro come into DS3 as well.
Yeah.
Dude,
how excited are you just that you get to play on release with everybody else? You're not catching up and, playing 2-3 years later.
It's actually kind of worrying because I don't know what the meta is. And one of the main things about Dark Souls is that I was worried about is when I first played DS1, I ignored all of chat. I basically didn't look at chat while I was streaming it. And I made a Zwei, and I did a strength build, and then I ascended Zwei to Thunder. So I got rid of the scaling. So I didn't understand how the scaling worked. Elden Ring, though, you could make a the worrying thing about it is that the sorcery looks so fucking cool, but sorcery is so hit and miss in all of the Souls games.
It's either super overpowered or super shit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the worrying thing, is that I invest in something. So Souls games or from games always encourage you to do quality or strength or dex builds, right? They always encourage you to do that because that's the safest option.
It's long sword.
Yeah, it's exactly. You go for the easiest, the path of least resistance. But also, I think I might just hard turn into a great shield, big ass weapon, no rolling, tank motherfucker.
No rolling is dangerous as fuck.
In Elden Ring though, in DS3, yes.
But
yeah, exactly. We don't know. I guess let's see. Maybe I'll just make a fucking assassin build or something where I'm just all throwing knives and scimitars and consumables and shit. Who knows? I don't do well with experimentation. I do experimentation in Monster Hunter, and then I turn around and somebody's like, "Yeah, shit build, kill yourself," in game.
Ooh, good old Monster Hunter.
Dude, the amount of times I was sat there begging for Valstrak's Charge Blade to be good against something, and it wasn't, was just terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'll have fun with it. I mean, to be honest, I think the Souls games are kind of like big shield, knight, longsword, and that's how you play it. Just a traditional knight, and then you'll have the most fun play.
Shields are super overpowered in Souls games. That's all you need, really. Just block.
But I guess we'll see. If anything, to be honest, if somebody does a shit build, then maybe it'll reinforce if Elden Ring is too easy. If somebody makes a shit build and they've got a popular audience, maybe they'll start to reinforce the Souls gamer hard thing again, who knows? And that's kind of exciting, though. It's who knows about what Elden Ring is going to be like, but I guess we'll find out.
Next week!
Yeah, baby! Yeah!
Alright, one thing that kind of wrapped up everything we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
2+ hours, so... Good shit, man.
Look forward to the next episode, because we had some scheduling issues with this one.
Yeah, I think the next one's gonna have... I know, time zones and...
Time zones, man, time zones. Time zones and cats. That's what the next episode...
Yeah, time zones and cats.
Yeah, that's what the next episode will be called, is Time Zones and Cats.
But, I don't think the next one's gonna be until probably until just after Elden Ring launches, so I might have to grab a bunch of people. If I can grab you, Jin, and Try for that one.
Spoilers, fam. Spoilers. That was our guess.
Yeah, we'll have everyone talking about our Elden Ring experiences. That should be fun.
I think maybe we should form a cult at this point where the three of us, Try, myself, and yourself, should kill Jin. And then every time he starts getting amped up about Elden Ring, we just say, "Yeah, but we killed you though." And then we can shut him down.
I will put out a bounty system on Jin. Anytime any invader comes in and kills Jin, I will give them $5.
Or if you do a montage video where it's just the Mario Sunshine Delfino Plaza music, it's and it's just you sniping Jin off a cliff over and over and over.
Oh, that's gonna be so good.
You're gonna I want to see the beef. I want to see Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan level beef.
I just need to interpose all his VODs of him just yelling at the screen. Dude, I need to do that. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait.
I don't hate Jin. I love Jin. And I want to see him get so fucking hyped and angry over everything in Elden Ring. I want to see you fuck with him. It's going to be so good. Just Jin Fury.
Yeah.
He's not here. He's not here in person, but he's here in spirit.
Always
Go follow
about him. All right, Sarah. It was good catching up with you, man. I will see you next week with Elden Ring's launch.
Ooh, baby. Here we go.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, people. I appreciate it. And we're going to get out of here.
Subscribe or you will be boiled. What? Good night.
All right.